Friday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. That's Carey Davis. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Appreciate everybody tuned in today as special events going on tonight at Centene Community Ice Center. That's where we are inside the EB Granite studio here at Centene. Puck cancer. Kelly Chase, former Blue, battling cancer himself. Constant fight. Sounds like he's doing well. If you read his article in The Athletic where he shared, kind of his experience with Jeremy Rutherford, but it was all through the eyes of Chaser. You could see everything that he's been battling with, and we all know somebody that was impacted by cancer, guys. Every single one of us. So tonight is a very special event. They're doing the Puck Cancer Celebrity Game. And at some point, I'm sure we're going to be getting some celebrities walking through these doors, and we'll do some interviews and things like that throughout. So we will keep in mind that why we're here today, and we're grateful and appreciative to be here. Unfortunately, we start off with the loss last night for the Blues. Shaky outing by Jordan Binnington, guys. And it's just a situation where Nashville has this team's number this year. Binnington stopped only 25 of 29 shots in that 6-3 loss. Last two goals were empty netters, but even when the Blues, battle back to make it 1-1 or, cut within one, I think it was, 4-3 at one point, Binnington was shaky. And this is the unfortunate reality with this year's Blues team, Carey. If Binnington is on point, they have a great shot to win. If he's not, they just don't have another element to their game that combats that. And that's not necessarily fair to Binnington that he's going to be perfect all the time, but it is the unfortunate reality of the situation.
It's pretty much the cards that this team has been dealt. If he doesn't really stand on his head every single night, there are going to be some long nights, and last night was one of those. The few goals that I'm sure he wish he could have back, and that we've seen him make this year, a few saves that we've seen him make that he did not last night. And the team just, as you said, Nashville has their number, but it's almost like Jordan Binnington has played so great this entire season. When you're playing really well, eventually you're going to have a stinker. And last night was probably that stinker for him, but it came at the worst, most inopportune time for this team as they're trying to battle and make it into the playoffs. And so you may have, that loss last night may have kind of sealed your fate for the season, unfortunately. Still got time, still got a few games left, but a loss like that in that moment to that team was almost the final straw.
Well, also, you can say whatever you want about Jordan Binnington, but when you go 1 for 6 on the power play, you don't deserve to win that game. Jordan Carey, nice goal, but at that point it was a little too late, and then obviously Nashville gets the empty net goal, but too many turnovers. We've seen that all season long. We were talking about it before the show started.
You liked the one by Krug.
I didn't like that one at all, Anthony. I thought he was trying to force feed it through what seemed like the entire team, but just plays like that. Obviously, we're singling that one out, but that's been the story of this team for the past 2 seasons. Too many turnovers, and when Jordan Binnington is not on his game, and now some of those shots may have glanced off sticks, and maybe there was a redirection in terms of the shot, and you can say whatever you want about that, but when he's not on his game and he's not playing the way that we are accustomed to, that's the outcome. And unfortunately, it comes at a time where the Blues needed to win that game to just get a little bit closer in that wild card race. But the Kings have won a few games in a row. Nashville obviously has put themselves in a position where they are pretty much in the playoffs. So it's going to be tough for the Blues. They need some luck down the stretch from the LA Kings, and I don't know if that's going to happen looking at their schedule.
Anytime you need help from other teams, usually doesn't bode well for you.
Right.
You would love to be in a situation, and the Blues were essentially in that situation where they could control their own fate. That loss last night, as I said, may have sealed their fate for this season. And we can be frustrated, but are we really surprised? I think there was, Anthony is, because he predicted them to go to the Stanley Cup.
You know what? The season's not over, right?
Okay, you're right. But I think that when you watch this team, that's been the most frustrating thing about this entire season. I've asked Curbs multiple times, what the heck are we watching game to game? And the people that are there every day don't have an answer.
Yeah.
The players don't have an answer. One coach got fired. He didn't have an answer. This coach has tried to come in. The coach got fired.
Winning coach got fired.
He didn't have an answer. This current coach doesn't have an answer. They've shuffled lines. They have tried to do everything to inject some life into this team, and it happens for a few games, and then they go lifeless again. And so you've brought people up, you've sent people down, you've sat healthy scratch people, you have sat people in games to try to motivate the team. You've done everything but jump started with cables. Like literally, they've tried everything that they can, and it all has come back to the same thing over and over again. And they're going to have to do, if they aren't able to make the playoffs this season, which again it's looking that way, they're going to have to do some soul searching in the offseason. Some soul searching, some maneuvering in terms of shuffling around some people, moving out, moving in, and figuring out how to play at the level that you have shown you can play on every single night. You're not going to win every game, but how to play hard and play well every single night.
You kind of beat me to the punch. I was going to ask you guys, do you feel disappointed? Because I do. If you look at the season, I expected them
to win the Stanley Cup.
I expected them to make the playoffs coming into the year. Things change, obviously, when you fire your Stanley Cup winning head coach, the expectations become lowered. But I thought Doug Armstrong had done enough at the deadline last year and then in the offseason to at least make this team a wild card team. I did not think that they were going to be the third team in the Central. I thought that they could fight for a wild card in the Western Conference. I still feel, if I'm judging my feelings as we've gone on this roller coaster, I feel disappointed. I thought they were good enough to at least be a wild card team and rebound from not making the playoffs a year ago.
As a fan, I'm disappointed, but taking a step back and looking at it from like a realistic standpoint, I didn't think that they really changed all that much from last season. You came back with virtually the same decor, which was a huge problem last year. The only difference really was Jordan Binnington has had a better season, and some of your young forwards have stepped up. And Jordan Kyrou, however, has taken a step back in terms of his production. So I think, though, looking at it, knowing that this team is in a retool, they had a better season, right? They were better than they were last year. They're still in the mix. They're not mathematically eliminated yet. So there's still somewhat excitement. Now that's dwindling. They're hanging on by a thread, but they're there to the final couple weeks of the season, right? Like we're getting there, and their team is still in the mix. So I think if they do go into next season with this same roster, which I don't think they will, then I will be a little bit more disappointed. But I think they are building, and hopefully next year is the year.
The changes are forthcoming.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about this from a contract situation. Marco Scandella has his contract coming up. Sammy Blais' contract is up. Jakub Vrana's contract is up. Kasper Kapanen, his contract is up. There will be some changes. You're going to have some flexibility. The question for Doug Armstrong is similar to the one a year ago. Can he move on from one of these restrictive contracts? Whether that's a Torrey Krug, whether that's a Jordan Kyrou, whether that is, I don't know, one of your other defensemen. I don't think they should get rid of Colton Parayko at all. But I wonder if Doug Armstrong can make a move this offseason after trying to last offseason to free himself up with even more space.
I don't think Jordan Kyrou is going anywhere. I think he's going to be here. Again, to trade a player, there has to be a willing participant on the other end. And if you're trading this player because, well, we paid him too much and he's not performing at the level that we want, well, why would someone else sign up for that? If that's why you are essentially trading a player. Normally you're trading a player, well, the contract, he's productive, but we want to get under the contract, or he wants to move, we want to move him, he's doing great. It has to be something where both parties are seeing something. Now, maybe another team can feel like, they just don't know what they're doing, and we can coach them up and get them going. But if you're not a self-starter, it's hard for someone else to get you started and get you going. So I don't think Jordan Kyrou will be anywhere. I think he'll be here. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he'll be here. And if some of these defensemen, you talk about the contracts and the trade clauses that they have, they tried last summer to no avail. It didn't work.
No.
So if the player who has the no trade clause in his contract decides, no, I don't want to go. I like St. Louis. I like the toasted Ravs. I like the free zoo. I like my kids going to this school and being in this district. I like the familiarity with it. Then how do you get this team better?
Yeah. I think there's two types of players. One player is the type that wants to stay and wants to be a part of that retool and to get this team back on track. And there's another type of player that might think, man, that's 2 seasons in a row. I'm not getting any younger. I want to go and have a chance to win a Stanley Cup. And right now, I don't believe that this team gives me the best opportunity to do that. So I would entertain being traded and voiding my no trade clause. I just wonder which player that could be. Doug Armstrong's going to find a way to make this roster completely different. How he does it, I'm not too sure, but I think he will.
Yeah. If you want to shake things up, you're going to have to. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN 212. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. At 2:30, we're going to talk to Brad Thompson. Our guy BT will join us. We'll talk a little Cardinals baseball with him following an exciting win yesterday. And let's get into that victory from yesterday. Some may look at it and say, wow, so it's just the Marlins. I had a lot of fun on opening day. And when it comes to the opponents this year, I don't know if you're good enough to look at the opponent. kind of a slippery slope there. You know what I mean?
There. Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing, but it's kind of a bad thing.
Marlins haven't won yet.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. From Centene Community Ice Center, Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. Jamie Rivers traveling following the 6-3 loss for the Blues last night against the Nashville Predators. Of course, we were down at Ballpark Village yesterday, like many of you. You were either inside Busch Stadium watching the comeback, or you were with us again at Ballpark Village. But either way, guys, I know things went sideways for Lance Lynn. He had been rolling. First 3 innings looked great. The 4th inning and the 5th innings where things got wonky for him. Jake Berger, local product, homered in both the 4th and the 5th inning. When the Marlins went up 4-1 following Berger's solo home run in the bottom of the 5th, you couldn't help but have the thoughts of like, really, Marlins are winless. This is a bad team. They make a bunch of errors, and if it's not a complete error, they misplay balls. They shouldn't have a good offense. They don't have a good bullpen. Like, what the blank is going on right now? But credit the Cardinals offense. They showed what they're capable of. Ivan Herrera, good, young, exciting player. Mason Wynn, good, young, exciting player. Nolan Gorman got into the action yesterday with a double that wound up being the game-winning run when you look back on it to make it 6-5 at the time. Cardinals added 2 more. I realize, again, that this is the Marlins. You gave up 5, and Lance Lynn's start wasn't good. But, man, at least the offense showed up. You have to have something. I think that this is an average or a slightly above-average team. I do. Let's call it what it is. But them showing up, the offense showing up last night, hanging a snowman on the board, great, excellent.
Yeah, I mean, the win is good. If I'm going to be critical, I'm going to be critical by the fact that you were down. One of your prize offseason additions didn't make it out of the – what did he make it out of the 4th inning, out of the 5th inning? He just didn't make it out of the 5th inning, 4 2/3, and, gave up 3 home runs. That's concerning to me. And you were down 4-1 to a team that has not won a game yet this season. So if you want to be critical, yes, you got the win, but there are times where it matters how it looks. And I think this is one of those times. You want a team that doesn't have any wins. I feel if you're a good team, you should be dominating, start to finish. And Lance Lynn performed kind of the same thing in his first start. Did well, but had runners on. This time he was able to get out of the 4th inning because of the rain delay in Los Angeles. But it wasn't good enough from him, in my opinion. And so you got down. You were able to rally back. But my concern is that team is terrible in Miami. And I know people are, we won, you shouldn't be critical. Yeah, you kind of should. Because if you play the 0-16 Lions and you lose or you tie and go to overtime and you have to win, that's a problem. They stink. You shouldn't be in the game with them. So we'll see what tomorrow looks like. Hopefully you have a better start. Steven Matt's back on the bump, and we'll see if he's able to pick up where he left off from his last outing.
I look at this completely different than you guys. I look at a team like the Marlins. Yeah, they haven't won a game, but like they still have some guys on their team. They're just not good in the field, and they play bad baseball through 9 innings, right? Like this happened in 1 inning where he gives up the home runs, and you're like, oh no, but like let's remember this is a 9-inning game, and so the Cardinals last season, they don't win that game. They found a way to win last night or yesterday, and I got to give credit to them because this is something that I don't think we would have saw last season. In Miami, the Cardinals waited it out, and they found a way to win because Miami shot themselves in the foot. Terrible defense. They made 2 errors yesterday, and you end up winning 8-5. Now, I understand the concern about Lance Lynn for sure, but I think we have seen so far that the Cardinals can find different ways to win ball games, whether it's small ball, the long ball. Yesterday, it was coming back from behind. So I like what I saw yesterday from the offense. You put a 5 spot in the 7th inning, and you end up winning that game. So I like what I saw, and yesterday's done. Move on.
So you and I see it similarly, because I'm with you. I'm right there with you. I'm not going to harbor. I'm not going to focus on the Lance Lynn start. He's going to give up home runs.
That's who he is. That's what the back of his baseball card says.
He had a 5-something ERA a year ago. Carey, you kept talking about him giving up, more home runs and
like
more hits than
right
anybody.
from that pizza.
They rallied. There was a commercial years ago. Chicks dig the long ball, and clearly the Cardinals pitching staff is buying into that.
Sure,
they lead the league in home runs given up so far, and I think they may have misunderstood because the hitters are I think 22nd, 23rd in home runs hit. Mm-hmm. So maybe they misunderstood that saying years ago. Chicks dig the long ball. The pitcher's like, yeah, no, not from you.
What was your expectations for Lance Lynn, though, coming into the year?
Better. I mean, again, we talked about it as in spring training, that he had allowed the most home runs in Major League Baseball last year. I would hope that would be corrected. Like, you wouldn't give up as many home runs as you did last year, because you generally don't win games when you're putting people on base, you're having a lot of hits, and people are hitting the ball over the fence. That's scoring runs. And if your offense is struggling, which we're seeing Jordan Walker struggle. We see Nolan Gorman got a hit yesterday, but he's been struggling. Nolan Arenado has not been to the level that we expect him to be. Mason Wynn is doing really well. Victor Scott, he's getting on base at times, but he's struggling. He's a rookie. He's going to struggle. So there are a lot of, I don't want to say holes, but there are a lot of missing pieces in the lineup that just aren't performing well enough. So if you're a starting pitcher, you cannot get people on base and give up balls that go over the fence that have no chance for your very good defense to be a part of. And I think that was my concern going into the season, and that's my concern right now. It's If you are leading the league in home runs allowed with 8 games played and you've given up 15, it's about 1.5 a game.
No, listen, I don't disagree with anything. I'm just talking about yesterday specifically. What were your expectations for Lance Lynn? I don't see Lance Lynn. I know that he didn't give up any runs against the Dodgers. He was fortunate not to. That's a great lineup that battles you, and maybe if there's not a rain delay, it winds up being worse for Lance Lynn. I didn't think he pitched well last week. I didn't think he pitched well for 2 innings yesterday. But the offense came through. And you're right, they're banged up. They don't have Tommy Edman. They don't have Dylan Carlson. They don't have Lars Nootbaar.
They didn't have Brendan Donovan yesterday.
They didn't have Brendan Donovan. They Wilson Contreras. I mean, that's a lot of firepower that is not in your lineup, and still they came back to win. And I love the fact that most of the contributions yesterday were from the young guys. Mm-hmm. Ivan Herrera, huge day. Only bested by Andrew Marsh. Called the Ivan
that was
Herrera
pretty awesome. We should actually hear that again. That was damn good, Marshy.
Mason Wynn, kind of put the game out of reach late. Nolan Gorman again with the game-winning RBI as it would turn out. I thought yesterday, from an offensive standpoint, I want to see the young guys play, and I want to see the young guys play well. Walker wound up having a big hit down the lineup. It should have been caught, but Jordan Walker, we're kind of concerned about. Was it Walker? He went over.
Walker went over.
Yeah. Okay,
it wasn't Walker. Excuse me. Maybe it was Mason Wynn. I'm thinking of the triple. Yep. Okay, so the triple off the glove of. So you got to get Walker going. But Gorman was struggling coming in. Now it comes up with a big knock. I like the at bat. I said this before. I like the last at bat he took against San Diego, where he shortened up his approach and wound up going to right field. And I think we're starting to see a shorter swing out of Nolan Gorman.
Can I read this text from the 314? 162 games is a long season. You're going to have games like that. Lynn is Lynn. You will have some ups and downs, and you'll see him let up some long balls. We have to be patient, and Miami isn't as horrible as Carey presents them to be. Are they not?
They're pretty bad.
They're bad.
I know they made the playoffs last year.
They are not a good team.
They're playing very poorly.
Yeah, they're just playing bad baseball, bad defense, situational hitting.
That's kind of how you win.
But you still have guys that have power and can put the ball out of the yard.
Yeah.
We saw that yesterday. Those guys are big leaguers. It's not like they're not going to run into one here and there. They just, when it really comes down to it, when they need to buckle down, they don't have a bullpen that can help them. Mm-hmm. So,
or an outfield.
So that is the main difference. Because you have teams that can get out to hot starts, and then they just simply cannot finish the game off. And we saw a little bit of that last year with the Cardinals. Whenever they did score runs, they would blow games, right? So to me, that's what Miami is. These two teams sort of flipped each other. If we're kind of comparing the two from last season, like the Marlins they're a wild card team. Like, they weren't great by any means.
They had great pitching, but you're right. Their offense was not great.
But so. They're a team that they're going to fluctuate up and down. That's how I see this Cardinals team being all season long. But we established it yesterday. As long as they win the series, I'm okay with that.
By the way, that Bobby Miller cat.
Yeah, he's really good, Anthony.
Bobby Boucher. He's
shut down the Cardinals last week. He was incredible.
Oh, he must be just absolutely tearing up the Cubs right now.
Well, he's out of the game. What
do you go, 7 innings?
Nope, 1 2/3.
Oh.
4 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, as the Cubs are up 6-2 on the Dodgers in the bottom of the third.
Man, Craig Counsell doing a really good job at the dish.
Not even hitting. Nope, he's their manager now. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We are going to talk to our guy, Barret Thompson, about the Cardinals and what he's seeing thus far in the early going. And we have a fun announcement, too. That's all coming next in the Fast Lane live from Sensing Community Ice Center here on 101 ESPN.
Grant Francis here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. A big game for the Blues last night. They fell in Nashville 6-3 as the Predators take an 8-point lead on the Blues in the standings, and the Blues 7 points behind the Kings for that final wild card spot in the West. They'll be back in action tomorrow night as they are in San Jose. Pregame at 4 o'clock, puck drop at 5 here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. For the Cardinals, yesterday they had a better fate. They won 8-5 at opening day at Busch Stadium over the Marlins. They'll be back tomorrow after an off day today against the Marlins at Busch Stadium. First pitch at 1:15. I'm Grant Francis. The Sports Center update's been driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're live from Centene Community Ice Center with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Jamie Rivers is on the road. And we got a special guest coming up right now. It's our guy, Barret Thompson, World Series champion. You hear him alongside Chip Carey with the Bally Sports Midwest broadcast. And each and every week now throughout the course of the baseball season, you'll hear our guy, BT, back in the fast lane. So we'll have a special interview with BT each and every week throughout the Cardinal season. BT, how are you?
Guys, I just found out about that too. I'm pumped up. I'm great, man. I missed you guys yesterday. I was trying to go down and see you, but I'm busy during baseball. But how was the broadcast yesterday? It was a fun opening day.
I'll tell you what, BT, the first, it got a little rocky there in the middle of the broadcast. But, man, with the way things finished, everybody was in a great mood. Man sodas all the way around at Ballpark Village. You know how that goes. But, yeah, I look, Lance Lynn, not a great start. But with so many guys banged up in this offense, how great was it to see the young guys, Ivan Herrera, Nolan Gorman, Mason Wynn, step up in that performance offensively?
It was awesome. Real quick, which one of you geniuses picked Ivan Herrera for the first home run? I think I saw that online.
So nobody picked Ivan Herrera for the first home run, but our guy Andrew Marsh was sitting there about 20 seconds before Herrera hit the home run and goes, I don't know, guys. I got a feeling that Ivan Herrera is going to hit a home run right here. And it was all captured on film, Brad. It was
amazing.
I love it.
We call him the Prophet now.
Dude, well, the Prophet is a very good nickname. I'm digging that. And he looked great. He's looked so good. You guys know he revamped his swing last year. He revamped a lot of things, honestly, even behind the plate, the way that he sets up, the way that he goes about it. And I think it was a really humbling experience for him 2 years ago when he got to the big leagues and the game was on him quickly. And he's still young, right? So that's to be imagined, like that will happen. But he is ready to step in whenever he is needed. So the big swing of the bat, I mean, he had 4 RBI in the last 3 days for him. So you love seeing that back-to-back days with sac flies, had the home run, had the single. So just love seeing him take advantage of it. And then you're right? It's even Nolan Gorman left on left. They bring in the lefty Nardo. He ends up dropping one down the line for a double. Alec Burleson steps up. Mason Wynn with the RBI triple. Like all these young guys stepping up in a big spot. And to your guys' point, you're doing a live show as this is happening, and you went through this last year. The here we go again. Like that had to be the feeling that you had during that one, because Busch Stadium was not like a winning place. They had a losing record at Busch Stadium last year. We know how it went. It felt like it could have gone that direction, and it didn't. Guys, I mean, that's a huge positive to me.
BT, when you're talking about Mason winning that triple, what have you seen from this young man from last year to this year? He's playing stellar defense, hitting the ball really well. What have you seen from him from 23 to 24?
I've seen reps, Carey. I think that's the biggest thing. And you know this, like your first year in the NFL, I bet everything was like moving pretty quickly. Or maybe it was the first couple of weeks. Like, all right, this is what I need to expect. And this is how I'm going to be attacked. And he got a chance to see that. I think that the Cardinals handled him really well. I think that's one of the biggest things with him is they said, look, you're going to bat ninth, and for the most part, right, eighth or ninth. But we don't really care what you do offensively. You pick everything at shortstop, like they told Yadier Molina back in 2003 and what was expected out of Ozzie Smith back in the day. You pick everything. You help us defensively. And they knew that the bat would come around because that's been the case for Mason at every single level. The bat has been there. He's been slow the first couple of weeks, every level that he's been at, and then he starts, going on a little bit of a tear. So he looks more comfortable to me. We saw him in spring. He was jumpy. I thought that he was kind of hunting for power. Right now he's just trusting his hands. He's hitting the ball, and he's seeing the results.
Our guy Barret Thompson joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. World Series champ, of course, the broadcaster, play-by-play, the color analyst for Valley Sports Midwest. BT, I want to ask you about Nolan Gorman. I made the remark after the first game against San Diego. It was his last at bat. He gets a base hit. He looked like he completely shortened his swing. Took it to the other side, let the ball get deep, went the other side, and got a base hit. The next 4 ABs, he didn't have a hit, but he only struck out once, and he had a walk in there, too. Then yesterday, he comes up and he delivers that ball, smacked right up the middle. You got a better eye than I do on this. It looks like Nolan Gorman is starting to find his swing.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think that he was trying to do a lot of damage early, and then he wasn't connecting. And then instead of just honing it back in, he started chasing a little bit more. He started being less selective than we've seen him be over the last year plus. And now we're seeing that slow down a little bit for him. We're seeing him be a little bit more selective. And you're right. Sometimes that gets your swing back in, Anthony, is that thought of just let it travel, shoot one the other way. Like if you're a lefty, let it travel, hit a hard line drive over the shortstop. That's something that Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers, who are decent. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but they're decent. But Freddie Freeman always talks about that.
They're getting
take that.
Brad. They're getting pummeled. That Bobby Miller guy, everybody thought was good. Apparently he's not.
Is that right? I will tell you, that might have been the most impressive pitching display that I saw against the Cardinals. But either way,
like to hell with that.
What did he give up? I haven't even seen yet.
6. He's out. He's out after one and a third or something. Yeah, 2/3.
Oh. Bobby Miller, where is he? I don't know. Bobby fishered him. So his simple swing is the other way. He's got so much power, and it's such raw power from him that if he thinks about just getting the bat to the ball, the home runs are going to come, right? He doesn't have to hunt for homers. And I think you're right. I think that he just kind of slowed it down. The strikeout rate was crazy high for the first week plus. That's not where he wants to be. That's not where he proved that he can be last year. He's always going to strike out. Like, that's going to be part of his game. But he's always going to have big power, too. So I think just honing it back in, relaxing, and then having guys around him that are getting the job done, that helps out a ton, too.
BT, would you say the same thing for Jordan Walker? He's batting $167 right now, 4 for 24. Do you think that's more of a mechanical issue at the plate, or could it be confidence? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's still a 21-year-old kid learning who he is at the big league level. I feel like right now, from a mechanical standpoint, certainly I'm not in there with him in the cage. I don't know exactly what he's working on all the time. But his swing looks very similar to where it was last year, especially early in the season, where everything's pull side on the ground. Now, he had a game in San Diego, and it was super promising. He had a ground ball through the right side, and then he let one travel and hit a barreled one to the right side for a single. So 2 hits that way. I think that has to be his stroke. He's got to be up the middle the other way, and then if he catches something out in front, that's going to be his power. To me, He's 21, right? So we have plenty of time to find out what he is. But his potential, to me, it's not the average. It's the power that's going to be there with his combination of speed and bat-to-ball skills. He's got to figure out a way to hit more line drives. I know that was the thing last year, and the Cardinals caught crap for it, for sending him down and wanting to get the ball in the air more. Guys, he's not going to reach like the pinnacle of where he's supposed to be if he's on the ground all the time. I don't care if it's hard on the ground. If he's on the ground, that's not where he needs to be.
BT, Victor Scott is tied for the team lead in runs scored with 6, but only batting 100. And pretty soon here, you're going to have some more outfielders coming back from injury. You're going to have Lars back. You're going to have Dylan Carlson back. Tommy Edman potentially. What does that mean? Does he have to hit in order for him to stay up, or what would be the move once those guys get back healthy?
Dude, get your popcorn ready. I don't know what the move is going to be yet, and I don't think they know what the move is going to be at this point, because Vic is a lot like we were just talking about with Mason Wynn. It's the same idea of don't really care what you give me offensively. Go catch everything in center field. And that's exactly what he's doing. And then when he does find himself on base, which has not been as much as he wanted, I think he's got a .184 on base percentage, so not exactly what you're hoping for out of the speedster, but he's still learning, still young, his first crack at the big league level. I don't know. I know the pitching staff and I know the coaching staff loves him in center field right now. I know that Tommy Edman is still a little ways away, but when Newt comes back, and that is going to be pretty quickly, you've got a big decision to make, because barring the health, and guys, I mean, we're going to find out more probably tomorrow about the health of Contreras and Donovan. Both of them plunked in that finale against the Padres, which is maddening. 96 off of Donovan. Contreras caught one off the hand. Vic Scott also got hit in that one as well. I got a feeling there might be a memory of that come August when the Padres come here again. I don't know. I'll remember it at the very least. But your best lineup has Donovan in it every single day. This team looks totally different with Donnie off the top. If Jordan's here, obviously he's playing every single day. There's not a bench role for him. Young man's got to play every single day. And when Newt comes back, he's playing every day. So that would leave, if that's your three, that would leave Vic as the odd man out. But it just depends on what your priorities are. If you're swinging the bat really well with most of your lineup and then you want to prioritize defense, it's very hard for me to say, okay, well, send Vic out, because defensively he makes your ball club a lot better. So it's going to be really interesting, and I think that it is going to matter what some of these bats are looking like here in the next couple of days. It might be one of those decisions, who's hot, who's not.
BT, we've seen the Cardinals play a little bit of small ball early on in the season. Do you think if Victor Scott is to go down to Memphis, does that change the identity of this ball club from an offensive standpoint?
It certainly changes the speed element, right? Because we've already seen it with Vic. Even though the offensive numbers aren't there, he's drawing the corners in. Everybody's on high alert. Pitchers are trying to rush pitches when he is out there on the base paths. So that does change that. I don't think it changes the bottom of your order laying down some bunts. So, like right now, Mason Wynn will use that. He'll use that bunt tool. He's not afraid to do that, get the ball down, get a guy over, or bunt for a hit. Michael Ciani has done that, and they've done that for him at times, of having him lay down some bunts. I believe that they want the small ball to be part of their element. I think it's being a balanced offense. You have guys that are paid to hit home runs, and you have other guys that are paid to get on base and move guys over, and you kind of know who you are, and those guys will gradually change, right? Their games will continue to progress throughout the year and throughout the next couple of years. They still want that to be a part of what they do, but certainly your danger is a little bit different when you don't have a guy that has elite speed in Victor Scott II.
BT, we'll let you go on this one, but we'd be remiss if, we spent this entire time talking about the offense. What are your early observations of the pitching staff? Zach Thompson struggled through his 2 starts. Lance Lynn battled last time. Yesterday, not great in the middle innings. Miles Michaelis bounces back. Kyle Gibson looked great. Steven Matz looked very good on Sunday night. But from your perspective on the entire pitching staff, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I think it's kind of been, in large part, what I expected out of the pitching staff. I think that you will have some ups and downs within the rotation, which we saw first couple of games, right? Michaelis got banged around a little bit. Thompson got touched with the 3 home runs, although in his first game I thought he pitched a lot better than his line. In his second one against the Padres, I think he was really gritty, kept the team in the ball game. But overall, I think that's kind of what it's going to look like. Gibson gave you the great start. Matz, I love the way that he's throwing the ball right now. So these guys are going to give you innings. They're going to get you deep into ball games, even though Lynn only lasted 4 2/3. I think some of that is also a product of the fact that you had the day off today and they were able to go to the bullpen a little bit earlier. But I think that they are going to be a constant. To me, that is a big promise. You'll have games like Gibby's where he goes out there and gives you 7 strong, only the two runs. And you'll have games where maybe they give up more but gets you deep into the game. Offensively, you're still going to have to score some runs. But I think that side of things has been good, and I am really excited about the bullpen. Dodger series did not go well. I think they gave up 11 earned runs in 15 innings, not exactly how you were hoping that your remade bullpen was going to work. But since then, since the Padres series, they got the second-best ERA in baseball, only giving up 1 earned run in just under 12 innings. And you got some new guys emerging. Ryan Fernandez, I know you talked about his major league debut, and they were looking for a spot, man, to get him in. There was the Game 2 against the Padres where had they just got one big hit with the bases loaded, it would have given him a chance to get into a ball game that wasn't quite as tight. Didn't happen. He ends up coming into the finale on Sunday. He ends up striking out the side, showing 96, 97. And that group's not even healthy yet. They don't have Middleton. They don't have O'Brien right now. Yet they still have guys where you pick up the phone and you feel good about. Like, there's nobody in the pen, really, where you're picking up the phone and you're like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to that right now. So that's been a big bonus. So they look good. Look, they're going to have to battle it out. They're 4-4. I think it's promising where they're at, especially after dropping 3 of 4 in L.A. But they're just going to have to keep proving it. I thought that yesterday was a big step forward for that because, as I mentioned off the top, look, Busch Stadium, they didn't win much overall last year. They had a losing record. Busch needs to be a place where other teams come in, and there's that little fear factor there, knowing how good the Cardinals are. I hope that was a step towards that yesterday.
Same. BT, great stuff. Can't wait to do this each and every week throughout the Cardinals season right here in the Fast Lane, man. Welcome back.
Guys, I'm pumped up, and, I've missed you dearly. I've been begging to come on. No one ever calls. You don't write. Oh, and by the way, speaking of no calling and no write, Anthony, an incredibly late belated happy birthday. I love you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Oh, good. I think I missed yours to the end of January. I know we saw each other around that time. I'm like, you and Andrea both have birthdays coming up, and then I think I missed you both. So, happy belated birthday to you guys.
Thank you.
See you, buddy.
All right, boys. Talk to you next week.
All right, take care. That's our guy, Barret Thompson, here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Love having him on, man. His baseball insight is just outstanding. He's incredible. He's an incredible human being. Love having him on the show. So each and every week in the Fast Lane, he's going to be joining us. I think we're aiming for Wednesday. So Wednesdays with BT or Tuesdays with BT or Thursdays. You know what? If it ends in Y, we'll have BT on at some point.
We'll come up with a clever name.
Absolutely. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. That's Andrew Marsh who just talked, and he's got what's trending next.
Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney, whether you're betting on the big upset, possibly, maybe NC State, I don't know, or the one seed. It's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins, Anthony.
I told you yesterday, Carey, I don't have to worry about busted brackets because UConn.
Yes.
I got UConn.
You went chalk.
So what?
Good
we'll go
for
chalk
you.
tomorrow night, too, as they take on Alabama. Alabama's run is over. Am I right?
I don't know.
I mean, they can shoot. They just can't defend. Although, hey, they made it to the Final Four with that philosophy, so they're doing well.
It's possible.
UConn's laying 11.5, I see. Purdue's laying 9.5, and you can bet it all at FanDuel. As Carey just mentioned, new customers get the $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And you can use that money, that bonus bets, on point spreads, money lines. You can pick who's going to win it all. It's up to you. Player props, however you want to do it. Just do it at FanDuel. And visit FanDuel.com/fast. FanDuel.com/fast, and then bet college hoops until they cut down those nets in a couple of days. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Live from the Sensing Community Ice Center inside the EB Granite Studios. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. We're here for a very special event. It's going to be the Puck Cancer hockey game. Garth Brooks, Dirks Bentley, Brendan Shanahan, Tony Twist, Doug Waite, more going to participate in the Puck Cancer charity game, and that's going to be tonight right here at Sensing Community Ice Center. Details are being shared by the Blues, so whether you go on Twitter at St. Louis Blues or you visit their website, you can find out more details. But we hope to chat with whoever's kind of hanging around here, maybe in the 5 o'clock hour. But again, if you want to participate, if you want to learn more about it, just head to St. Louis Blues or the St. Louis Blues website. Andrew Marsh here as well, and he's got what's trending.
All right, guys. Indiana State lost to Seton Hall. Not Eden Hall, of course. Right. Seton Hall, the Pirates, 79-77.
Eaton Hall would have won that game, too.
Maybe. I mean, they lost to the Mighty Ducks, but, you know.
Yeah, but now Eden Hall is the new.
Oh, now they're the Eden Hall Ducks. Yeah.
Right.
You make a great point, Anthony.
Thank you.
But Indiana State, they lost, and there's some interesting news coming out today. I think there was some news circulating about this particular topic that I'm going to bring up previously. But this is from Jeff Goodman on Twitter. Indiana State coach Josh Schertz to St. Louis should be official in the next 24 hours, source told The Field of 68 at The Field of 68. Rick Simier on Twitter as well says sources have informed Sports 10 ISU Indiana State head coach Josh Schertz has scheduled a meeting today with his Sycamore team. So it looks like all the signs are pointing towards Josh Schertz going to SLU and being the new head coach. So we shall see.
I think that would be an outstanding hire by SLU. Indiana State, if you watch them at all, I mean, they shot the lights out this year. Yeah, obviously, he can recruit. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people were kind of miffed that Indiana State didn't make the tournament.
Right.
That was one of the teams that people were saying were, kind of gypped. Snubbed. Mm-hmm. So I think that'd be an interesting, fascinating, excellent hire. He's got to recruit, obviously. That's the big thing now in college. I mean, it's always been the big thing in college sports, but more so now with the NIL money and all that. But I just from an on-paper standpoint, what we just saw at Indiana State, who, if you watch that final play, I mean, they almost forced overtime. Kid got blocked twice at the top of the key. Ball skirted away, had another shot attempt, went off the rim, and then somebody almost volleyed it back in. And they could have went to OT. Otherwise, they had a great NIT tournament.
That's what I was going to ask you. What is the most important thing for SLU? It has to be the recruiting piece. You have to get players in there
that's going to fit the system.
Fit whatever system you have, and you need some guys that can go. Right. I think I think about a couple of years ago, Yuri Collins was one of those guys. He was a person that made people want to come watch SLU basketball. You got to get those types of kids in there and have an opportunity to make the tournament, win the conference, and continue to go forward.
Yeah, definitely.
This is interesting. Odell Beckham Jr. might be heading to South Beach with the Miami Dolphins. Now, this is not official, but Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, took to Snapchat last night and posted a picture with him and OBJ with the caption, "OBJ to Miami confirmed." Now, this has not been confirmed, of course. However, if this does happen, what does this mean for Miami? Obviously, they put themselves in a situation last year to win the AFC East. They lost to the Bills and were a wild card team and had a bad finish to the season as they did not show up at Arrowhead in the playoffs, as Anthony has recently pointed out. His favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs.
For those 2 weeks, they certainly were.
For those 2 weeks, of course. But
Fire up Chief Nation.
A little mixture of Fire Up Chips
That's right. That's correct.
Fire Up Chiefs. So let's just say this does happen. What does this Miami team look like, or are they any different?
Carey, you and I were talking about this last year when Odell signed with Baltimore, and I know you really liked the signing, and I was like, this is not going to matter.
Yeah,
I don't think
I was wrong.
Oh well, I only bring that up to say this. This is a nothing burger.
Yeah.
It really is. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek are the starters. Are there some ball? Are there some targets available for the third guy? Yeah, but it ain't gonna be much.
Right.
This is nothing. This is a name.
Yeah,
It's signing with a kind of an exciting team. That's it.
I agree with you. I don't think it's something to really, raise your eyebrows and be concerned about. He's probably, at best, he's your third or fourth receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Braxton Berrios still is playing pretty well. So I don't know if he can, he's going to be competing with him for trying to get catches. So
right.
This Miami team, for me, in my opinion, they got worse. When you lost Christian Wilkins in free agency, I think that you lost one of your better defensive linemen. I don't know that this team is going to be as good as they were last year, but fortunately for them, the Buffalo Bills said, hey, we're going to trade our second best player. You can win the division now, idiots.
They'll get him.
Oh, that was just ridiculous. I'm sorry, Donnie.
They got a bunch of draft picks.
Donnie is over there.
Come on.
Losing his damn mind.
Rebuild the defense. They'll get a wide receiver.
Man, Chris Acacci is losing his damn mind.
Jeez.
Last thing here, not sports related, but for the people out there that love good Pixar movies, Toy Story 5 will release on June 19th, 2026 in theaters. 5 movies for the Toy Story franchise. How about that?
Is you a Woody guy or you a Buzz Lightyear guy? One or the other.
Who's my favorite?
I think I was a Woody guy. Buzz kind of came off as a little arrogant, a little snobby.
Really?
Yeah, in the beginning.
He didn't know. He didn't know he had to learn.
He didn't realize he was
realize
a toy.
And Woody was kind of being a you-know-what to him.
But you come into my house with that attitude, what do you think I'm going to be? Huh?
It wasn't his fault that Bo Peep was throwing up eyes,
My lady. Huh?
Eventually, it all worked out in the end. Buzz was a loyal friend.
He was.
Got with Bo Peep.
That's all right. Woody had Jesse.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything works out, right?
It wound up being a fiery relationship.
Absolutely.
I would say I'm more a Buzz guy.
You're a Buzz guy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What about you, Marsh?
I don't know. I'd say probably Woody. Woody's cool. I mean, I like both of them.
They're great together.
They're great together.
Like lamb and tuna fish.
Like lamb and tuna fish.
Yep. That's right.
I mean, if you don't like spaghetti and meatballs, you can get the hell
out
out.
of here. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. I think we end there. What does the roster look like for the Cardinals when the injured players return? We just talked a little bit about this with BT. I think it's a fascinating conversation that we can open up because you would ask about Victor Scott and whether or not Victor Scott can hang around. Right. And you said, hey, Marsh, you were like, hey, does it change the identity of the team if Victor Scott eventually goes down? So we'll talk about that next on 101 ESPN.
Get your popcorn ready. I don't know what the move is going to be yet, and I don't think they know what the move is going to be at this point, because Vic is a lot like we were just talking about with Mason Wynn. It's the same idea of don't really care what you give me offensively. Go catch everything in center field. And that's exactly what he's doing. And then when he does find himself on base, which has not been as much as he wanted, I think he's got a .184 on base percentage, so not exactly what you're hoping for out of a speedster, but he's still learning, still young, his first crack at the big league level. I don't know. I know the pitching staff and I know the coaching staff loves him in center field right now. I know that Tommy Edman is still a little ways away, but when Newt comes back, and that is going to be pretty quickly, you've got a big decision to make.
That was our guy, Barret Thompson, who joined us earlier today here in the Fast Lane, and he'll be joining us each and every week on Wednesdays. So looking forward to chatting with BT about Cardinals baseball. And that was following a question, Carey, that I believe you had about how things kind of shake out once Lars Nootbaar comes back, eventually Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson. You know, when Lars comes back, I think he'd be the first one to come to return from injury. I would imagine. Maybe it's Dylan Carlson, but let's just say it's Lars Nootbaar for right now. Superbad is likely the one to go to be optioned out.
Right.
But then you got to turn on your mic.
Oh,
you got
to put on the right hit.
This is yours, Carey. Carey's got two next to him.
Wrong one.
There we go. Got it. So, yeah, I think Superbad would be the first one to go out. But when you're completely healthy, then what? How does this roster look to you?
That's the question that I'm wondering. I mean, you're going to get Brendan Donovan back because he's hurt right now. Wilson Contreras is going to be playing every day. If Lars Nootbaar is your starting left fielder, and you're saying that Victor Scott, we're going to we want prefer defense over what he's performing how he's performing at the plate, and Jordan Walker is playing every day in right field. Well, then where does Brendan Donovan play? So now is he your second baseman? And where does Tommy Edman go when he comes back? I think it's going to be a little bit chaotic trying to figure out. Now it generally sorts itself out because guys somehow or another end up getting injured or things happen where a guy can go on the IL for a stint, but if they're all back healthy at the same time, not only is the lineup and who's playing every day, but who's even here.
Yeah. Because
there are going to be some questions in terms of, is Victor Scott going to stay here? Is he going to be sent down? You talked about Jordan Walker. I think, Marcia, you had a good point about what you said with what BT said about Jordan Walker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said something along the lines of, if he's here.
Right.
It was very short, but it was something that caught my attention. I was like, oh, whoa. Because I brought that up earlier this week.
He hasn't looked good.
No.
He looks overwhelmed. I imagine that he'll figure it out. I'd like to believe that he'd figure it out quickly, but Jordan Walker is still a young player who, I brought this up 3 days in a row now. He skipped AAA for the most part. He did not have a full season there.
So, I mean, the question becomes who's playing, who's not, who's the DH? Is Brendan Donovan, playing every day because it seems as though when he's healthy, he should be. Nolan Gorman hasn't been performing at the level, I think, of the expectancy. So I think it's going to be really intriguing when everyone is back healthy. Dylan Carlson was going to be your starting opening day center fielder until he got hurt. Does he get another opportunity? Maybe, maybe not. But when all of these people are healthy, outfield is healthy, infield is healthy, even with the pitching staff, some of those guys are going to have to go down when Sonny Gray comes back and when Middleton comes back. There are a lot of questions, and there are going to be some hard conversations for some players that have earned the right to be here and to be on the roster, but just aren't going to be able to be because of numbers.
I don't know if it's as cut and dry as this, but I would love it to be. This is when it's most important to know who you are. You asked, Marsh, you had asked a question to BT about, does it change the identity if Victor Scott were to be sent down? Are you a defensive first team? Are you somebody that prides yourself on elite defense? Are you somebody that prides yourself on being able to develop young guys at the big league level? Are you a team that, we're power above all else? We're veterans above all else. What type of team are you? Because then the decision isn't easier, but maybe the question is a lot easier. The answer comes easier to you. If you don't know who you are, then I think you get in a situation where it's like, well, this guy hit well last week, but this guy hit well this week.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. You can't just always ride whoever's hitting because baseball is extremely streaky.
Right. One thing that comes to my mind, and this could be me just comparing apples to oranges, but when Drew Bledsoe was injured, and Carey, you would know this from watching Dynasty.
Great
we bring it up,
Watched
but
it all.
Anthony hasn't.
Still
But
waiting on him.
you know, when Drew Bledsoe went down,
keep talking about it.
Tom Brady stepped in, and Drew Bledsoe came back, and he was healthy, and he was able to become the starting quarterback again. One of the reasons why he didn't, because Bill Belichick said, well, Tom Brady has the most reps with this offense.
Right.
He knows the offense, and they were playing well. I wonder if that is something similar that we can compare the two. Like I said, it's apples to oranges, two different sports, but when these guys come back, you already have these other guys who've been playing for, you know, a good chunk of time. Mm-hmm. Does that change things? Because they, like you said, you're not going to get a base hit every single day. That's how the baseball goes, right?
That's how baseball go.
That's how it go. But it just makes me wonder if you bring these guys back in and you're like, okay, we're putting them right in, we're changing things up. Could that mess up the flow of the team and the flow of the offense? I don't think it'll mess necessarily with the defense because Tommy Edmonds is a good defender, Dylan Carlson's a good defender. Yeah. But from an offensive standpoint, I wonder if it changes things.
You know, it's not. I certainly understand the comparison to football. It's just you know, in football, all 11 guys are kind of working in sync, and you know that. But so I think it's different. But let me just ask you guys this: what do you want to see? Because I want to see the young guys.
I want to see Victor Scott playing every day in center field. Mm-hmm. Second base is probably going to be the question.
It's kind of a dumb thing because Newt and Edmund are both relatively young, too.
Well, not as young. But I know what you're talking about. When we say young guys, we're talking 22 and under, or 23 and under. Yeah. Mason Wynn, Victor Scott, Jordan Walker. I want those three playing every single day. I want, obviously, Goldie and Arenado playing every day. Contreras behind the plate, which leaves us with left field and second base. Mm-hmm. And you essentially have Dylan Carlson when he's healthy. You have Lars Newbar. I don't know if Tommy Edmonds is a left fielder. He's probably more of a center fielder. But at second base, you got Gorman, you got Brendan Donovan, and then Tommy Edmonds. And so that's a lot of players for not enough positions, which means somebody's going to be watching some games every day. And somebody that probably deserves to be able to play is going to be watching some games every day, which is also why it would have made a lot of sense to trade someone in the offseason to get a starting pitcher. Just my thought.
I don't need pitching.
Nah, you do.
Not important.
Kind of is.
Let me ask you guys a question, though. Which one of the players that is not currently healthy, which one makes the most impact, though, coming back? Is it Lars Nootbaar? Is it Tommy Edman? Like, which one could you go without?
I think it's Lars, because I think what you're getting in center field is an upgrade from Tommy Edman in terms of the defense. Mm-hmm. And offensively, Victor Scott is hitting the ball. He's hitting the ball hard. He's just not hitting it. He's just not getting any – he hadn't gotten any luck yet, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. He's gotten some good cuts. He's taken some good swings and just hasn't had the opportunity to hit the ball in play to get on base and have that success. But I think he's taken some really good swings. I think Tommy Edman is the one where you look at it and say – and it might sort itself out because he's hurt, maybe hurt more than we actually know or actually thought. Right. So it might work itself out where you don't have that issue. But I think Lars is the one where you look at it and say, okay, we can get an upgrade there. But then again, if he's playing left field, where's Brendan Donovan playing?
Yeah.
And so that's the question that becomes after that.
It will work itself out. Of course, we're doing talk radio, so it doesn't work where you just say, it's going to work itself out. It will, however it looks, but that goes back to Jordan Walker. If Jordan Walker's struggling at the dish, if he's not making marked improvements there in the outfield, I wouldn't put it past the Cardinals to send him down at some point. Not now. Again, not now. We're talking, if you just joined us, like, why would they send him down? We're talking about when healthy, when the team's completely healthy. I wouldn't be shocked.
Also, a few years ago, I remember watching the Dodgers in the playoffs, and it seemed like they could have fielded two different lineups with the amount of star power that they had. Not saying that the Cardinals have the same amount of star power by any means, but would it be necessarily a bad thing to have multiple positional players to then go with the matchups, or does that sort of go against your philosophy of having that everyday type lineup? Because we're not seeing that right now.
Yeah, I'd rather see a more stagnant lineup, but let's take it a step further here. What's saving Brandon Crawford's spot?
That's true. Veteran presence.
Yeah.
You know, Tommy Edman can play short. Brendan Donovan can play short if there's something.
Dare you say Matt Carpenter?
Mason Wynn. I would not dare to say Matt Carpenter at short. No, not one bit.
No. At short?
Yeah, that's
No,
what you
not
said.
short. I said, would you dare say Matt Carpenter on the roster, not being on the roster?
Oh.
Hell no. Why would you put him
No,
in
that'd
shortstop?
be from a PR standpoint. I don't think they'd do it.
You're gonna run into a position where you don't got enough spots for enough people.
You're still unbeaten 2-0 with Matt Carpenter in the lineup, though. So I think that's something you got to think about. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Is this UConn's Final Four to lose? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. The Final Four is tomorrow night. Boy, it's a fun sports day tomorrow. You got the Blues playing, you got the Cardinals playing, you got the Battlehawks playing tomorrow night. City's playing as well. So locally, it's great. But at some point, you might want to make your way to a TV set. You got the Final Four.
That's what Action Jackson will be doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Instead of hanging out with you.
I guess so.
That's terrible.
Was it tough to hear?
It was just disappointing. I said, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Sure.
Which is usually worse.
The realization of when we told him that the Final Four was taking place at that time,
It
hit him.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's
But he had something to do. He does.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Man. That's tough. It's tough to find out.
It
Anyways.
wasn't the weather. It was the Final Four. Which,
Yeah.
you know what? I understand.
Yeah, because the weather's supposed to be okay for the most part. Anyways, NC State, Purdue, they tip at 5:09 p.m., and then Alabama takes on the defending NCAA champions, the UConn Huskies.
No, try it again.
My UConn Huskies. Your UConn Huskies. Our UConn Huskies.
Not mine.
Yeah, okay. 7:49. That one goes off Alabama and UConn. Is it Alabama's tournament to lose? Carey, even though you're going for Purdue, and Marsh, you haven't told us yet who you're going for, but even though you're rooting for Purdue because it's the Big Ten, you still gotta admit that it's UConn's tournament to lose, right?
I'm rooting for Purdue to play UConn in the national championship game. I think that would be the best game.
And
UConn is probably not going to win. But that's just my opinion. Zach Edey. We talked about this. We talked about Zach Edey and Purdue and how they got upset early in the tournament last year and now come back number one seed, making a run through the tournament and doing a great job. They got NC State this weekend. DJ Burns has done a great job. Mm-hmm. He's turning down an opportunity to play football. Don't think that's a wise idea. But
what position do you think he play?
Yeah, tight end, left tackle, right tackle. If you're athletic,
you think he's that big?
He's 6'7", 276. He can put on
he can
15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah.
As an offensive tackle, yeah.
Obviously, he's got good feet.
Or lose about 20, 30 pounds and be a tight end. Be a blocking tight end.
Antonio Gates.
He can get paid, young man. I don't know if the NBA, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for that. But I think that's going to be a good game. But I do like Zach Edey. I do like what the Purdue Boilermakers have been doing. They've done a great job. And again, they suffered the embarrassment, the loss, a la what Virginia had a couple of years ago when was it Virginia, right?
Yes.
When they lost in the tournament first round, and came back and won the national championship the following year. Mm-hmm. I feel like Purdue is kind of on that track. And UConn has, I watched the second half of that Illinois game, and I turned it off.
Sorry, buddy.
It's bad because they are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, but because the only matchup that I think works well against UConn is a 7'10", 8'5" guy in Zach Edey. He's huge. He's 7'4". He's a big human being. Klingen for UConn is a large human being as well. I think that's the only way you can beat that team, and so I think that's why that would be the best game.
It is a contrast. I was going to say it's a contrast in styles when you look at Alabama and UConn. It really isn't, because UConn, they're kind of a matchup nightmare if you want to turn it into a perimeter game, which is what Alabama always wants to do, because they play three guards. They go small ball. They don't have a big that can mash. It's kind of like Illinois. Illinois' biggest problem is they didn't have a big, so I think that Alabama's going to run into the same issue. But Alabama knows who they are. They're going to shoot from the perimeter. If they get hot from three, remember when a year ago it was Princeton. Mm-hmm. And Princeton had just a remarkable game against Mizzou. It was just one of those games where they were hitting their threes, and that was it. Alabama could certainly do that, but they don't have any interior presence that's going to be able to match up with you guys.
So here's what Illinois didn't do that I wish they would have done. They kept getting set up in half-court offense. That is not going to beat that team because the interior presence, their goal, it seemed to me, was to attack the big and try to get him in foul trouble, try to get to the free throw line. He stayed up straight and was blocking a lot of shots. You're going to have to get out on the fast break and get to them before they can get upset, before they can get set up defensively, score buckets in that way, or secondary offense, get it to a kick and drive and kick to a three-point shooter so he can shoot a shot. That's what Illinois didn't do, and if you played that tempo against UConn, I don't know because they're pretty damn good, but I think you could possibly beat them.
I mean, it's not too late for Purdue to lose to a double-digit seeded team. I love DJ Burns. I love DJ Burns, and I would like to see NC State be in the national championship game, but I think just from an overall basketball perspective, UConn Purdue is the matchup that I think everybody wants to see. You want to see the team that was supposed to, be there the past few years, going up against the runner or the defending national champion,
the reigning champion.
It's just a great matchup that I think everybody would like to see. Alabama, I don't know. I don't think they stand a chance against UConn. UConn, I mean, they made Illinois look like a D2 team.
Hey, whoa! We're in the Elite Eight, fellas.
Exactly.
But that day, you probably should have, not even the NIT, like the CBI.
30-0 runs.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly.
30-0 runs happen often in basketball. We just got caught up in an unfortunate situation that happens so many times. You watch the NCAA. How many times have you seen that this tournament? It's probably
Besides this one, once.
Yeah.
Or
But
not besides
you got to get out and watch more basketball, Anthony. It happens
Carey,
often.
Anthony, you should be hanging out with Action Jackson tomorrow watching both
I think
games.
Action Jackson will tell you there's no 30-0 runs. That was it.
That was pretty bad.
I think the question, though, is this UConn's Final Four to lose? Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Yeah, there's no
I mean, they're the
question.
defending national champion. They look phenomenal. I don't know.
So the point spreads are very high tomorrow. Purdue's -9.5, UConn -11.5. So we're everybody UConn and Purdue, at least from a prediction standpoint,
I think
straight
so,
up.
yeah.
Do we see double-digit wins for both games?
I think the NC State Purdue game is going to be closer than the UConn Alabama game.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe not. You know what? Maybe not a double-digit win for that game.
I wouldn't be shocked if they both won running away. Early, I could see the first half being tight in that NC State Purdue game, but Purdue has played really well in the second half of games. And credit, NC State did too. I mean, NC State was down. They scored 21 points last week against Duke in the first half, came out and shot unbelievable. They couldn't miss.
Has Purdue played against a team, though, that has had a pretty big man?
Purdue would have, well, Tennessee, no, Tennessee's got Connect, he's not a big.
Yeah, but Purdue has the biggest big man.
Right.
He's 7'4", 7'5". He's a large human being.
Right, but he's not getting NFL offers.
Yeah, well, clearly.
See what you did there, Marsh. I mean, there's got to be somebody in the Big Ten that want to be in a good big, but I'm trying to think of Gonzaga.
I'm just talking about from this tournament.
Yeah.
That Purdue has played, I don't think that they've played anyone that matches his size.
I don't think so. Well, definitely not his size,
Right.
but even close.
Yeah.
But if you're physical with him, I feel like you could at least just get him off his game.
Right.
I don't think so. He's a pretty tough guy.
I don't even think Burns is that physical. I mean, if you watch, I mean, he is he's a big guy. He's a big, so he's going to be somewhat physical. But I think there's more finesse to Burns' game than.
Oh, he's got a sweet touch.
I mean, that
left-handed touch that he has.
Yep.
Kissing it right off the backboard.
You stop. This is a family show. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We got our Sports Six-Pack next. So if you got a question for us, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack next.
Grant Francis here with a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. A huge game for the Blues last night. It didn't go their way. They fell 6-3 to the Nashville Predators. They had an opportunity to climb to within 4 points of Nashville. They now sit 8 points behind Nashville in the standings, and they're chasing the LA Kings, who also won last night, now 7 points behind the Kings for that final wild card spot. They'll be back in action tomorrow as they're in San Jose. They'll face off against the Sharks. Pregame at 4 o'clock, puck drop at 5 here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. For the Cardinals, they had a big game yesterday too, as it was opening day at Busch Stadium. They were on the winning side of it, 8-5 over the Marlins. They're off today. They'll be back in action tomorrow against the Marlins at Busch Stadium. 1:15 first pitch for Cardinals and Marlins. I'm Grant Francis. The SportsCenter update's been brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. We're live from Centene Community Ice Center for Puck Cancer, the celebrity hockey game tonight, which will be going on. Of course, it's Kelly Chase. He set up the event, and all the proceeds go to the Siteman Cancer Center. So great night ahead of us, great cause. Time for the Sports Six-Pack. What do you got, Marsh?
Question number 1.
All right, we got one from FedEx Colton. Not really a question, but it says, screw the Final Four. It's WrestleMania weekend. This is probably the most we've talked about wrestling in the history of this show, at least since I've been with you guys. But, one, are you surprised that there's a ton of people on our text line that are interested in the WWE or just wrestling in general? And two, if you were to be a wrestler, what would be your shtick?
I used to love wrestling, man. It was one of my favorite things in the world. I would want to, like Jimmy Superfly Snuka jumping off the top rope. I would want to be able to do all of the acrobatic things off the top rope. And dangerous as hell, but looks great.
But Danger's your shtick.
This is my middle name.
Yeah.
Carey Danger Davis. Yes.
Oh, I like that.
It's actually Tyler.
Okay.
Now, would you go
What
by
is your middle name?
Alexander.
Is it?
Yes.
Carey Alexander Davis.
Yes. Or Danger.
Right. Or Danger.
I think Danger Davis, that sounds like a wrestling name.
Sounds like
Danger
a guy.
Davis. Yeah, I like that. Boy, I don't know what my shtick would be. I'd probably be a villain.
Be a heel, isn't that what they call
I'd
them?
be a heel, yeah. I'd be a heel.
Would you just be called Ranthony?
Probably. Yep.
You strike me like the Brooklyn Brawler. You remember him?
No.
You remember the Brooklyn Brawler? He was one of the guys. He didn't win many matches. He was one
son
of
of a...
But he was a well-known. He just came out there with his torn-up T-shirt and jeans on, and now he was probably fighting earlier in the show.
Seems like a clown.
Nah, the Brooklyn Brawler was a guy. You got to respect. He had a long career. The text line knows about the Brooklyn Brawler. He had a long career in the WWF as the time as it was at the time.
I think I just go by Marshy Marsh. I think my character would be the guy who'd come in probably. If it was like a Royal Rumble, I'd be like the 7th guy. I'm in for maybe 2 other people, and I'm just lying on the ground the entire time. I walk in, maybe get a good punch in or whatever you want to call it, and then I get thrown over the ropes. That's my type of guy. I don't think I'd be one of those fan favorites. I'd just be kind of, or who is. Actually, I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah,
I can't
man.
help you with.
I know you can.
Shawn Michaels is who I think you would be.
Shawn Michaels? I mean, that's a pretty big name.
Yeah, I can see that. You got the walk and the yeah. Come on.
What was your favorite finishing move, Carey?
I mean, I think Dusty Rhodes used to do the elbow drop. The Undertaker with the tombstone, that was wonderful. I actually thought he had literally killed the Ultimate Warrior. I was crying. I was. He's in a closed casket. He's not going to make it. It's going to be over for him. He'll never make it out of there alive. Oh, my God. And I'm like, no, you got to get the Undertaker out of there. You got to get the Ultimate Warrior. Save him.
Little Carey Alexander was so upset.
It was tormenting me. Oh my God.
I think my favorite part of wrestling is
That's funny.
you know, you get a guy down, you're about to pin him, you're like, 1, 2, and they just go, whoa, you know, they fly out, and everyone's like, 2. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you almost had him. Then they do it like 10 other times, and you're like, when is this thing going to end?
It was only
not because I want it to end, but it's like, this is coming down to the wire.
Anthony, the Brooklyn Brawler, man. People know about the Brooklyn Brawler. He was a famous wrestler.
You didn't sell him though.
He didn't win a lot of matches,
Exactly.
man. But he was you knew who he was when he came out there. Like a New York guy. Yeah, well, in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And you're from New York, right?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Speaking of 2,
Question number
2, please.
2.
All right, we get a question from the 314. What will it take for Major League Baseball to reclaim its relevance in the sports world and maybe even reaching the similar popularity as football? Curious to hear if the salaries plays a role and if rule changes will have any impact on the casual fan attraction.
So there's 2 things that football will always have an advantage on every other sport, especially baseball. 2 things. 1, the season's short. Mm-hmm. It creates that build up each and every week, and as soon as your game's over with, you're like, I want more. So that's one of it. 162 games, you don't feel, even if you're the most diehard Cardinal fan, you don't feel compelled to watch every inning, every pitch of every game. You know there's going to be one tomorrow, likely.
Right.
Now you don't want to miss them, but you miss an entire week and kind of catch back up and then jump right back in. So football has that over it. The other thing that they have is people understand point spreads. They don't understand the money lines. Mm-hmm. It's an easier sport to bet on. It's an easier sport to play fantasy football on.
Yeah.
That does factor in. I don't think it has anything to do with contracts and salary caps. Not this part of it, at least, when you compare it to football.
Yeah, you won't be able to.
Yeah.
Football is king. It just is. Mm-hmm. And baseball doesn't do a good enough job, in my opinion, of, really letting you know who their stars are or putting their stars out at the forefront and making sure that it is. Yeah, I mean, you got some guys, but
like Trout.
Should it be?
Shohei may get 4 at-bats, and he's a DH, and that's it.
Yeah, but he pitches when healthy.
I know.
And he's a superstar. I ain't seen it since Babe Ruth, and I ain't seen Babe Ruth.
Your stars in the NFL are likely touching the ball
every play.
Your
quarterbacks, for sure.
I really do think it comes down to the way the schedule is mapped out. Like, why do people love football, even college football? Because there's one game a week for your favorite team, and you can put everything aside for that one day, sit down or go to the game and just focus in on that one team, and then you have the rest of the week to do whatever you need to do, or you have storylines that are created that lead up to that game. Mm-hmm. And I just think that there's better matchups. Like, compared to the other sports, I think there's so many rivalries, and just you have the one guy, right? It's like, all right, it's Pat Mahomes going up against Josh Allen, or Patrick Mahomes going up against Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson. And I just don't know if you feel that within Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Like,
okay, it's Shohei Ohtani going up against,
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's tough to replicate. All right, Jamie, unfortunately, is going to cost us the rest of the Sports Six Pack because he had to move up. So we'll talk to that jerk bag coming up next. But at some point we will get back into the Sports Six Pack because we do owe people 4 more questions. Mm-hmm. So Sports Six Pack continued at some point. Yeah, fourth quarter there. So Jamie Rivers will join us next. We'll talk to him about what the heck happened last night against the Nashville Predators, a team that just simply has owned the Blues this season. Jamie Rivers next. Carey, I cannot wait for the Final Four tomorrow. It's going to be UConn. It's going to be Purdue. Maybe Purdue gets a game, but I don't think UConn will. They're going to roll. And if you had your bracket busted a while ago, well, let us introduce you to FanDuel, because whether you're betting on a big upset or a 1 seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins, Carey.
Yeah, Anthony, that's $200 to use on the point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. I know Anthony has been saying it for weeks. He thinks UConn is going to win it all. RL Chalk, he's going for it. That's what he believes. I like Purdue in the NC State game, and I think Purdue goes on and plays UConn in the championship, and they get the W. So that is my #1 seed. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/fast and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets.
But you must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. We're at Centene Community Ice Center for the Puck Cancer event tonight. Celebrity hockey match. Our guy Jamie Rivers on the road. Last night he was in Nashville, and now he's heading to San Jose as the Blues take on the Sharks this weekend. Jamie, rough one last night, pal. What'd you see?
Well, it really was rough, Anthony. following that game, we had a 5-hour flight all the way out here to San Jose. So, yeah, it was rough. You're right.
How's the weather out there?
It's actually gorgeous. This little area where we stay at has all these, like, cool shops and whatnot and nice little restaurants. So I'm enjoying the trip as far as, the cities. We got to go to Nashville, which was nice. Got to get on Broadway for a couple of drinks the night before.
Jamie, what happened with the game last night, Jamie? What happened to the Blues? I mean, again, at Nashville.
The Predators. You got to say the Predators.
Owns our Blues.
There you go. Yeah, he's talking about
Predators.
You're right.
Yeah, he got confused.
Preds.
He got confused.
No, I'm glad you brought it up, Anthony. See, Tootsie's is a world-famous bar on Broadway in Nashville, and it's got 3 floors, you see, and each floor has a different band playing. It's really something. It's maybe not for the kids just yet, but certainly, bring the wife and friends. You have a great time. It's a good thing.
Yeah, Jamie, 9 total goals last night. Is that about how much each beer was down on Broadway?
Yeah, it was about. I learned my lesson, man. I had to take out a second mortgage to go down to Broadway there in Nashville. Now, okay, so let's get to the Blues. All right, in all seriousness, last night was a weird game because you dominated the Predators. Like you really did. I know the score is 6-3. You give up 2 empty net goals. It is what it is. But you almost outshot them 2-1, which, let's be honest, guys, that hasn't happened very often this year for the Blues against any opponent, let alone an opponent that is higher than them in the standings and, plays a pretty good defensive structured game. The one thing that sucked last night, and I almost feel guilty saying it. I feel like I should punish myself for saying this, but, Jordan Binnington would probably want a couple of those goals back last night. And it sucks because he has been the only reason, I shouldn't say the only, he has been the major reason that you were still in playoff contention, even to this point in the season. And last night, the very first shot of the game, Yossi shoots it, kind of squeezes it between the arm and the pad. The second goal, which a lot of people don't realize, was it was a shot, but Robert Thomas deflected the puck as it was being released. So it changed the trajectory of the shot. So instead of it being like a shot that was going up high, it stayed right along the ice, which Binnington didn't have much of a chance on. But then the McCarron goal, I think that it was a bad turnover by the defenseman in the defensive zone. And then Binnington didn't get all the puck on that one there. So it stinks to say that you didn't get the saves you needed last night when you've gotten them all season long. But on the flip side, UC Saros was unbelievable for the Nashville Predators. I mean, he's the reason they won.
Jamie, you're looking at that game last night, and you talked about Binnington just not performing at the level that we've seen all year. This team really can't afford for him to not have that performance, and it really sucks that it happened at this time, knowing what that game meant and knowing what it probably means for the rest of the season.
You know what, Carey, you're right, but let me throw this at you, okay? You still had 40-some shots on net. Like, you can blame or point the finger at Jordan Binnington and say, hey, it would have been nice to get those saves, but hey, how about Jordan Binnington turn around and say, hey, guys, can you maybe put the puck in the net? Like, how many power plays did you need that you didn't capitalize on? And then the penalty kill wasn't very effective last night. Nashville, I think they got 2 power play goals. So you're right. It stinks that Jordan Binnington wasn't, the god that he's been all year. But on the flip side of it, you had plenty of opportunity to win that hockey game, regardless of what your goaltender did.
Jamie Rivers joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie's on the road for Bally Sports Midwest. Jamie, if the Blues, and unfortunately we're coming down to the end here, if the Blues miss the playoffs, what is the thing that will have cost them the most when you look back on this year?
Honestly, 5-on-5 scoring and secondary scoring. That, to me, is everything this year. Sure. You got the goaltending. Your defense overall played much better than they did last year, and I think that's all that anybody wanted was a better defensive performance. And I know it wasn't perfect, but I think everybody can agree that it was better to look at this year than it was last year. And let's be honest, Colton Parayko and Nick Leddy had really good seasons, but Colton Parayko had a monster season. When people were trying to trade him last year, he responds with, a performance that may have arguably been his best season yet in the NHL. So for me, it's the 5-on-5 scoring, which was very limited compared to other teams, and then your secondary scoring. You know, if your power play wasn't going and your top guys weren't going, you just didn't get a whole lot of offense some nights, especially 5-on-5. So I think that, you know, if Army's looking to change some things, tweak some things, and work on some things in the off season, I think that those are the areas he's got to address.
Well, speaking of the offseason, Jamie, one of the questions that a lot of Blues fans will have is Drew Bannister going to be the head coach moving forward? I'm not going to ask you that because we obviously don't know at this time, but what is one thing that you've seen different from this Blues team since he's taken over that has helped for the better?
Well, the power play improved tremendously. You know, for whatever reason, it was like 8% under Craig Berube this season. And last season, the power play wasn't good either. So whether that's, you know, the head coach, the power play coach, or quite honestly, it should be the entire coaching staff. Because if there's one part of your team that isn't working, everybody should be sitting at the office trying to figure out how to fix that problem. Never mind if it falls in your department or not, you should be there pulling on the rope together. So I think the power play improved tremendously. I think that the defensive zone got a little bit tighter. You know, sometimes teams skate around the puck for an extended period of time, but overall you gave up probably less high-danger opportunities. And I honestly feel like, and this is going to be crazy to say this, but I almost feel like there was more of accountability. And let me rephrase that. No, I'll stick with that. There was more accountability, but it's because of the sequence of events. And let me explain. Craig Berube, it starts off the season, it's kind of inconsistent all over the place. Craig Berube loses his job. The main focus from Doug Armstrong at that point is that we need to hold our guys accountable. There needs to be a lot more accountability in the room, bottom line. So right there, the players know what's expected. Then Drew Bannister comes in and says the same things as Craig Berube. We want to play hard, we want to defend hard, we want to have an accountable team, got to be playing for the team and not for your own individual purposes. But then the difference is that Drew Bannister literally benched guys. Like Pavel Buchnevich doesn't see the ice for, half a game or the third period. Kyrou, Thomas, like there's guys that have just taken their turns at not playing, at being benched, and it's been fairly public. Like a lot of times coaches will bench a player, and then they'll just kind of like, well, we were trying some different things, and it didn't work out tonight. So they don't really admit that, hey, I benched the player. But Drew Bannister didn't shy away. Just, wasn't working for that guy tonight. Wanted to do some different things, and, we need more from those players. So I think that would be a little bit of a difference right there.
Jamie, good stuff. We'll let you go, and please get that Sharks jersey signed for me, okay, pal?
Yeah, don't worry. Joe Thornton said he remembers you very well.
Excellent.
He said that the restraining order is still out there.
Tell him I never got it. Jamie, we'll see you, buddy.
See you, boys. Have a good one.
See you, man. I figured I'd just get ahead of it, at that point. Just get ahead of it.
Your team, rooting for him to win tomorrow, right?
So which signature are you hoping to get?
Oh, all of them.
He's a
good team.
Sharks fan. He's from San Jose. Did you know?
I am from San Jose. Yeah.
Oh, from everywhere.
I do like sharks. It's a majestic fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swimming kind of scary though.
No, they're awesome, man. Unless you're in their mouth, then it's terrifying. That's what I've been told. We got the Gauntlet next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit mastor.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 to ESPN 403. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, and we welcome Jared into the program. Jared is joining us for the Gauntlet. What's up, Jared?
Not much. How you doing, Anthony?
Doing great, my man. Looking forward to the weekend here. Jared, first time in the Gauntlet?
Yes.
Well, welcome aboard. Would you like to take on Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, or me today?
Let's do Carey.
Okay, this works out
Perfect.
well because Carey, he went to go get a water here at Centene, and he hasn't come back yet. So this is perfect. So Jared, go ahead and spin the wheel. We'll find out what category you get, or tell Grant to spin the wheel.
Go ahead and spin it.
All right. What are you hoping for, Jared?
Miscellaneous.
Okay. Usually we don't hear a lot of randoms. We just signaled to Carey.
All right, well, Carey's been getting a lot of hockey lately, but not hockey today. It is football.
Oh. All right, Jared, how do you feel about football?
I'm pretty middling on it. I don't know if I'm going to beat Carey on it, though.
We'll find out. You never know. All right, so you're going to get 4 questions. Carey's going to get the same 4 questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. And if you ask for the options, those questions are worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Question 1. In 2007, which running back set the NFL record for most rushing yards in a single game, rushing for 296 yards?
2007. I think I'm going to go Sean Alexander.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Question number 2. Who was the last NFC player to win NFL MVP?
I'll take the options.
Options are Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, or Drew Brees.
Aaron Rodgers, final answer.
All right, question number 3. Which team has an NFL leading 7 Super Bowl MVPs despite only winning 6 Super Bowls?
Tom Brady, final answer.
No, so we're looking for the team. So which team has an NFL leading 7 Super Bowl MVPs despite only winning 6 Super Bowls?
Okay. Steelers.
Final answer?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Question number 4. Harvey Martin of the Dallas Cowboys and which other player from the Chicago Bears are the only 2 defensive ends to win Super Bowl MVP?
Robert Perry.
Final answer?
Final answer. Yep.
All right, we'll bring back Carey in from the cone of silence.
More like the rink of silence.
Yeah, the rink of silence. Jared, how you feeling?
Not great.
Okay.
But we'll see. I think I might have gotten 4.
Okay, all right. Well, Carey was searching for some coffee. I don't know if he ever got it. I think he did. Yeah, I actually looked down. I see it right now. All right, Carey. Are you ready?
Sure.
Your category today against Jared.
Hey, Jared.
What's up?
Is football.
Hey, all right. Hey, yo, that's kind of pressure. All right, let's go.
Question number 1, Carey. In 2007, which running back set the NFL record for most rushing yards in a single game, rushing for 296 yards?
2007, that would have been Adrian Peterson, who led the league in rushing because Willie Parker was leading in rushing until he got hurt here when we played the Rams.
Damn turf.
So I want to say Adrian Peterson. That was a tackle that hurt him. It wasn't a turf.
Damn football game.
Man, football is rough. Let's go Adrian Peterson, final answer.
Okay.
Anthony, how dare you say anything negative about the Battle Dome?
Well, the Battle Dome has been upgraded.
It was bad when I was.
The Battle Dome's awesome now. The Battle Dome's awesome.
In there is
the previous dome, led by the previous team.
Yeah. Anyways, question number 2. Who was the last NFC player to win NFL MVP?
I don't get a year? What the hell? Did Tom Brady? I mean, it helps. Did Tom Brady win MVP his year in Tampa? I figured Patrick Mahomes. Oh, no. Yeah, Jalen Hurts came in second. Yeah. He's going to be a quarterback. Oh. Yo, is it Tom Brady? It ain't go all the way back to Cam, does it? Oh, that's terrible. Give me the options.
Options are Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, or Drew Brees.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't say Tom Brady. Cam was Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, final answer.
All right, Carey, question number 3. Which team has an NFL leading 7 Super Bowl MVPs despite only winning 6 Super Bowls?
There are only 2 teams that have won 6 Super Bowls. And one MVP. Never. Because Tom and Hines. Pittsburgh Steelers. Final answer. Go there. It's a guess. It's only 2 teams.
Question number 4. Harvey Martin of the Dallas Cowboys and which other player from the Chicago Bears are the only 2 defensive ends to win Super Bowl MVP?
I want to say Richard Dent. Can you repeat the question, please?
Harvey Martin of the Cowboys and which other player from the Chicago Bears are the only 2 defensive ends to win Super Bowl MVP?
Let's go Richard Dent. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these today. Jared versus Carey. Let's start off with the second question. Who was the last NFC player to win MVP? Jared, with the options, you said Aaron Rodgers. Carey, you also said Aaron Rodgers after hearing the options. Correct answer is?
It is Anthony's favorite player, Aaron Rodgers.
1-1 tie between Carey and Jared today. Which team has an NFL leading 7 Super Bowl MVPs despite only winning 6 Super Bowls? Carey and Jared, without the options, both said Carey's Pittsburgh Steelers. Correct answer is?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys don't have 6 Super Bowls? They got 5.
Well, either way,
we'll see if it
if it matters.
We'll see if it
they're
matters.
the only one though. They're the only team to have an MVP to not win, right?
But it says which team has won 6 Super Bowls, correct?
Yeah. Anyway. Well, you guys both got it wrong.
That threw me off, huh? What are we doing here?
You guys both got it wrong.
I'm going to go with that, too.
1-1 tie. Question number 1. In 2007, which running back set the NFL record for most rushing yards in a single game, rushing for 296 yards? Carey, you went with Adrian Peterson. Jared, you went with Sean Alexander. Neither of you took the options. Correct answer is?
It is all day Adrian Peterson.
It is Adrian Peterson. So Carey has a 3-1 lead. It comes down to this. Harvey Martin of the Cowboys and which other player from the Chicago Bears are the only 2 defensive ends to win Super Bowl MVP? Jared, you went with William Refrigerator Perry. Carey, you went with Richard Dent. If it's Richard Dent, Carey wins. If it's Fridge Perry, we've got a walk-off. Jared.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
It was Richard Dent. It was Richard Dent. So Carey wins today 5-1. Yeah, he was.
Good job, Jared.
He was. Sorry, Jared. He got you today.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
See, question 3. Cowboys don't have 6 Super Bowls. I need to recount.
Okay, but who's got?
I need the votes.
Fair, fine.
Huh?
You got us. The Finches were a bad idea.
Yeah, you know what, Carey, I'll take accountability here. That's a typo by me. The question still stands. Like, they are the only team with 7 Super Bowl MVPs, but typo was there. I know Jamie's not here. I'll go fire myself.
It's about time someone's taking accountability in this room.
Well done, Grant Francis, who's back in our 101 ESPN studios right now. He's running the show.
I got a lot of respect for Jared, though, for firing off some answers without using the options.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the Sean Alexander one was a good guess.
Yeah, it
really was, because Alexander had some big games right around that time frame.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the year before, or 2 years before.
I believe he was going for the single-season touchdown record, though, and I think he came one shy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Either way, it was a good guess. Refrigerator Perry, DT. I also think he called him Robert. But
Robert Perry?
Robert Perry. But I knew who he meant.
Who is Robert Perry?
There's a Robert Perry.
There's
somebody named Robert Perry.
Plant is
Robert Plant.
Robert Plant is
Jimmy Page. Robert
Led
Plant.
Zeppelin. Yeah, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. That's Led Zeppelin. So
Robert Perry, first person that comes up on Google, is a U.S. yacht designer.
That's who I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Maybe think of Robert Parrish.
I don't know.
I think the yacht guy is who he was thinking about.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. We never finished our Sports Six Pack. We got 4 questions remaining. So, again, if you want to participate, 314-399-9646. We'll continue those Sports Six Pack questions next.
question. It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, we did not finish the Sports Six-Pack earlier, so why don't we continue now from Centene Community Ice Center. Question 3, please.
Question number 3.
All right, this one comes from the 980. Guys, we know nothing compares to Cardinals opening day. So they are out of this question. But between opening day for the Blues, City SC, or the Battlehawks, which one do you think, as the kids would say, is more lit?
I think from... Oh, man. I'll go with the Battlehawks.
I would go with City. Especially, well, based off of last year.
That's what I'm leaning towards, too.
That was probably, it's phenomenal.
But City fans are they're very polite, unless you're talking about their sport and you don't know what you're talking about. Then
you have experience with this.
They get a little uppity.
Yeah,
but very polite overall. Okay. You know, nice. I think the Battlehawks, man, their fans are gonna party.
Nah, you want to be with the
They're
party.
Gonna be rowdy.
All right, I can see that.
City's gonna be too. I don't think you can. I mean, all three. You can't go with the wrong answer. So how about we do this, okay? I'll go Battlehawks. Gary, you go City, and Marsh, you go Blues.
There you go.
There we go. Got it covered, guys.
Perfect.
STL.
STL. STL. I will say my favorite thing about the Battlehawks going to the games, and I'll let you know how, you know, the home opener is. Obviously, I'll be there this weekend.
Ruckus.
But I love the third down, ST, and everyone goes, L.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Love it. Love spelling out my city.
Yeah.
The abbreviation, of course.
I'm so glad you caught yourself. The abbreviation, of course.
Question number 4.
This is an interesting question from the 661. What's your take on adult topics / vulgar language happening in the seats of a professional game? Had a group behind us yesterday talking about cheating on spouses, various words that started with F, and some not so great insults directed to players. Also, I'll be yelling F words about Stan Kroenke at the Dome tomorrow, but that feels different.
I think if you have younger ears within earshot of what's being said, you should always be respectful. And as a parent of younger kids, I would want people around me to be respectful of that and not, you know, certain things are not, that's probably not the time or place for that conversation. Again, especially when there are children near and present. So,
yeah, I'm with Gary. Look around, have some awareness, have some tact, be respectful. I will say this, though, as a parent, if somebody else is cursing around them, it's up to me as a parent to look at the kid, because look at our kids and say, look, those are adult words. Those are adult words.
Yeah, Anthony,
this lunatic is drunk as a skunk, and we're just not going to say those words.
I'm probably not, because I'm not going to talk to the kids. I'm going to turn around and talk to the adults.
Well, that's fine too.
No, I had
the
a lady.
adult should act like an adult.
I had a lady who was had a few man sodas.
Yeah.
At a baseball game. My son is allergic to peanuts. Like, he'll just all over.
Killian's allergic to tree nuts.
She kept trying to give him peanuts, and I slapped the bag out of her hand. First, hey, ma'am, no. First of all, I don't know you. But second of all, he has a peanut allergy.
Right.
First time I was nice. And then she kept turning around. High five. Ma'am, you got peanuts all over your hand.
Yeah.
Go away.
Right.
And my son did high five her the first time.
Yeah.
Not knowing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And he ended up throwing up everything in the garbage can.
Yeah.
Like projectile.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. It was exorcist style.
That's serious.
Yeah. Hey, lady. Hey, I know you had a few.
Yeah.
Stop.
Right.
Please.
Right. Enjoy the game. Enjoy your nuts.
Don't be nuts.
Just look forward.
Aside from the peanut allergy thing, but man, there's just nothing better than your team getting a run or scoring a goal and just turn around and high-fiving some random person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're best friends.
All of a sudden, you have known each other for 17 years. I love you.
All because you cut into the lead.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you automatically have to say, there we go. It's go time now.
I think the best moment I had was when Jim Edmonds made that catch in the NLCS.
Oh, yeah, against Brad Ausmus.
Oh, my God. It was like everybody was like, come on. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I mean, I'm not trying to be lame here, but like that is kind of the beauty of sports, bringing everybody together.
Yes. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Just a beautiful thing.
A beautiful thing. So is question 4, please. 5, please.
Question number 5.
We got a beautiful question from the 636. Who would you rather give an extension to right now if you had to keep one of the 3 players? Jordan Walker, Brendan Donovan, or Lars Nootbaar?
I'm not giving anybody an extension.
Oh, Anthony, that's not the
question.
Earn it.
One of
Come
3.
on.
You got to pick one.
Do we not learn?
Can you pick one?
From some of these things?
Can you pick one?
Matt Carpenter.
You want to give Matt Carpenter
Jordan Kyrou.
What are we doing here?
Can we not see some of this? No.
He gave Robert Thomas an extension. How's that working out for
you? Keep going.
It's working out pretty darn well.
Oh, you're 50-50 in that regard.
Better than 0.
Keep going. What am I doing? Come on.
Right now, today, Brendan Donovan.
Okay.
Yeah. Today. But not today.
But not tonight.
Going back to that question we just had about, being aware of your surroundings if there's children. And Anthony, you said, well, I'll tell my children these are grown-up words.
Yeah.
The 314 says, or you explain to your child that Stan is a blank face.
Now listen here,
He didn't
kids.
even do anything. He's not here right now.
Who they're talking about. Yeah, he deserves
That guy.
it. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Forever.
That's a very good point.
Question number 6.
They weren't alive yet, but they still need to hear the story. Gather around, kids.
All right, from the 573, what does Victor Scott need to hit over the next 8 to 10 games to stay in the majors?
What's he hitting now? $1.30?
$1.
He's hitting $1.
$1.
$1. $2.20.
Yeah, at least.
You need to get that average up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he'll need to hit 220. Like let's say he's back.
No,
to
he
0.
needs to be at 220.
Gotcha. On the season,
225.
With that speed.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be.
And only because you got guys.
Maybe 180.
You
How
got
about
guys
that?
coming up behind you too. Like Mason Wynn, you're afforded a little bit more because he can play an elite shortstop. Brendan Donovan would be fine. Tommy Edman would be fine. Mason Wynn can give you an elite shortstop. Can Victor Scott give you an elite defense in center field? Yeah,
yes.
Tommy Edman was really good there last year too.
He's as good as he is. I don't think he's better than Victor Scott.
I agree with you, but the point is you got multiple outfielders coming. You got 3 outfielders coming back.
What did Tommy Edman bat last year? Does anyone know?
Average-wise? Yeah. Probably 250, 260.
Well, no one cares about average anymore.
It doesn't really matter, I guess. It's a crazy world we live in. 248 with a 706 OPS. Victor Scott is hitting 215. He's staying in the lineup. Hell with it.
All right.
Do you guys want a bonus question real quick?
Well, we haven't got to the 6th question.
That was the 6th one, sir.
That was the 6th one?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, I'm a step behind today.
We were flying through. Bonus question here. Question number 7.
Nice job.
From the 618.
Sounded just like that guy.
Who has sung the best national anthem? And also, what song gets you pumped up during the game?
Whitney
During
Houston.
any game?
Whitney Houston sang the best national anthem ever at the one Super Bowl. The song that gets me fired up most is probably when like college football teams play Zombie Nation. And they're like, the towels are going like.
It's only one song for me. That's Renegade.
The jig is up, the news is out, they finally found me. Renegades.
I like Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
Like not when Mariano Rivera comes out to it, but like when the Blues used to come out to Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Your St. Louis Blues. And then they come out. Oh,
and then
man. I also thought Chris Stapleton had a pretty good national anthem a couple years ago.
My buddy Paul, who does personal training at the MAC, just texted me that Chris Stapleton national anthem. Nobody's touching Whitney Houston's anthem from the Super Bowl, right? Carey?
No.
Come on.
No.
You ever see Whitney Houston belted out there at the Super Bowl?
I haven't. If you gave me the year, I'd look it up on YouTube.
92.
think it's 92.
92?
92,
I was
93.
going to say 91.
90, I think it's 92.
We're in the 90s.
It's hard to, Super Bowl, what year? It's
Houston.
He was 92.
Look, right away. I only typed in Whitney Houston. The first thing that came up, Super Bowl.
There you go.
It's because football is king, Anthony.
91.
Was it 91?
Yeah.
Was it 92 Super Bowl? See how that works? I don't know. Might have been 1991.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Are you playing that?
I don't know if it's legal to do so.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'll just stop it.
I'll listen to it in the break.
Yeah, you will. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
Well, it is the national anthem, though.
Yeah.
Is that like...
I'm sure. I mean,
can you copyright the national anthem?
Right?
I'm sure you
can play that. Where's
America.
Ryder at?
I don't know. America. We won't test it.
Somebody texted in Fergie. Oh, that wasn't great.
Fergie.
Oh my gosh! Was that the NBA All-Star game?
That was rough.
Oh my
Not
goodness.
as rough as Roseanne Barr.
Oh no, Carl Lewis was probably the worst.
Oh man.
Actually, have you seen the video of the guy on? It was a hockey game. I can't remember which game it was, but he's skating. He has ice skates on, and I believe he was singing the Canadian national anthem. And he starts skating, and he trips on the rug.
Oh, I do. I have.
And then he gets back up, and then falls on it again. I felt so bad for the guy, but you cannot help but laugh because it was so funny. But that was probably my favorite national anthem performance for sure.
Sorry about your car there, buddy. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Cardinals Overreactions next on 101 ESPN.
Grant Francis here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. A massive game for the Blues last night with regards to the standings in the Western Conference. They pumped a season-high 47 shots on goal, but they fell 6-3 to the Nashville Predators. They had a chance to move to within 4 points of the Preds. Instead, now they're 8 points back of Nashville and 7 points behind the LA Kings for that final wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Blues will look to cut into that tomorrow as they are in San Jose to take on the Sharks. Pregame will be at 4 o'clock, puck drop at 5 here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. For the Cardinals, they won yesterday in the opening day at Busch Stadium, 8-5 over the Marlins, and they're off today. They'll be back tomorrow against the Marlins at Busch Stadium, 1:15, the first pitch. I'm Grant Francis. The Sports Center update's been driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals won yesterday. They're off today. I think they build in, Major League Baseball builds in these potential rain delay days. But it just stinks. Coming off a win like that was fun. Now we got no baseball. I blame you, Marsh. I blame you.
Okay.
Your best Cardinal overreaction. If you want to leave us one, you can. Via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. What is your, Carey Davis, your best Cardinal overreaction? Let's do this. Let's have a lot of fun.
Okay.
One positive overreaction and one negative overreaction.
Kyle Gibson is going to win the Cy Young.
That's a pretty good one.
Yep.
Whoa.
You said positive overreaction.
I did, and boy, you nailed both of those.
I mean,
check. Did
you see that performance the other day?
I certainly did.
Did you hear him talk to us the day after?
Stud.
Would you not want that guy to lead your team and win a Cy Young for the 2024 season?
Of course I would.
Start 32 games and win, I don't know, 21 of them? Damn. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
ERA of 2.15.
He's going further.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just start.
Hey,
Grant just fired up the Cardinal glasses theme, even though we don't have them here.
I don't have them here.
At Sensing Community
but
Ice
they're
Center.
on.
I'll put them on for you guys.
Thank you.
There we go. Nice. There you go. All right, so that one's going to be tough to beat, Marsh, but what's your Cardinals' positive overreaction?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to beat that one. I think the bullpen is... I like the bullpen so far. I think they're going to be a, top 5. I feel like I'm in Carey territory with that. I'll say top 10 bullpen in Major League Baseball this season.
Top 10 bullpen
from like an ERA standpoint.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Although they have looked pretty good from a swing and miss standpoint too. Their strikeout. They got a lot of strikeouts so far, but I don't know if that will carry over for a full 162. But I like the ERA. I think the ERA will be top 10. I like what I'm seeing so far from the guys in the pen.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to go with a Cardinals positive overreaction.
You like this team, Anthony.
I certainly do. I'm just trying to pick out my favorites.
So many things to choose from.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're not too high on this team,
taking longer than I thought he should, right? There's so many options to choose from.
You don't need to be in Carey territory, but we need something out of you.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Let's go with...
Okay, I see what you're doing here.
Anthony, you want to start with your negative reaction? I'm sure it'll be a little quicker.
No. Jordan Walker gets sent down by May.
Damn it, that was mine.
That's the negative?
Yeah, that's negative.
That was going to be mine, too.
Yeah. All right. We're on the same page. There we go. Yep. Yeah. There we go.
I mean, I hope it doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah, no, of course.
Man.
Yeah.
Way to bring the energy down.
All right.
Positive overreaction, you say.
This guy.
You want a negative overreaction?
Tin Kent's comes up in the second half, and he winds up displaying the type of stuff that makes him an ace.
Okay. Is there a reason why he would be called up?
Why would he be called up?
No reason in particular.
They got
They
enough
just
guys.
needed-
They like their guys.
Well, they just needed fill in a rotation spot.
Starting rotation? Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds like a negative overreaction as
You
well.
guys, listen, you guys are asking the questions. I gave you the positive. You're trying to make it negative.
All right. Let's just move on to the negative. At least we got something out of this guy.
That was a good one, Tin Kent's. You didn't see it
but
coming.
somebody else has to
didn't.
get hurt for that to happen.
No.
Or perform
They could be pitching terribly.
It's kind of a negative overreaction built into a positive overreaction.
Can we go back to Kyle Gibson winning the Cy Young?
Yes.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Kyle. KG. Gibby.
Here's let's go to the text line for some positive ones. Victor Scott wins Rookie of the Year. A few people texted that
I don't
in.
know how he's going to do that when Mason Wynn's going to do that.
I almost went Mason Wynn to win Rookie of the Year.
Oh my goodness!
Maybe
From
Cole
the
is-
618 positive, Mo will get fired due to losing the fan base.
Anthony's. That's Anthony.
No,
Did you
it's
type that in?
I
Did you
didn't.
text that in?
That's worse than mine.
That's a positive and a negative overreaction.
But I mean,
like he feels good about it, but you got to lose to get that one.
I have a great positive
do you got?
overreaction for Anthony.
okay.
His original number for Ivan Herrera was around 40 games started behind the dish.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get
40 and 45.
Anthony's positive overreaction is that Ivan Herrera perhaps plays 70 games.
I like that a lot.
Where does Wilson Contreras play? He plays.
He'll still be playing.
110, 100.
You got to get this guy in the lineup.
Yes, you
Some
do.
people out there think that he will hit more home runs than just one.
Those some people you.
I believe he will. Watch him only hit one.
No, he won't. I think Herrera's bat plays big time, and they're going to be looking for plenty of ways to get him.
All right,
the action.
I give you a negative overreaction. The Cardinals do not have a successful first half, and Nolan Arenado decides that I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh.
I
I feel like you've been on that bandwagon for a while now, and I don't.
I'm not Marshy.
I don't understand why.
I'm not Marshy. I'm not a prophet.
Oh.
I don't foresee the future.
I was wondering where he was going with that.
Me too. I was going to say I don't dislike Nolan Arenado at all.
I don't see the future as Marshy does, but this team you could perform poorly, and Nolan just says, hey, get me the L out of here.
I do feel like the comeback prophet of the year, if there was an award for that, because last year I did not have a good 2023, but so far so good for the prophet. I just feel weird calling myself that. I don't like it.
Well, that's
Kinda
why
like that
you're
guy,
the prophet,
right?
'cause
That's the guy you
you're
talked
humble
about
about it.
yesterday. He's a prophet, but doesn't want anyone to know it, so
Yeah.
he doesn't say anything until
You're
he says
humble
it.
about it, all right.
I think a negative overreaction for me is that Miles Michaelis just does not have the performance that we saw the other night. He continues to have what we saw in L.A. That would be my negative overreaction. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but
maybe more of the same as like April, May last year, where you're just riding the roller coaster.
like an up and down. It seemed like he was trading months. So like this month he's good. The next month he's not, and it just kind of goes back and forth. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but
sure.
Anthony, do you care to give us your negative overreaction, or did you accomplish that already?
He's got a ton.
You gave us.
We already gave. Yeah, we all high-fived.
What was your negative?
Jordan Walker sent out by May.
That's right. That's right. You started with that one.
Because you
because you
couldn't
guys
find
asked
the
me.
positive.
No, it's because
it
I
took
was
you 15
cycling.
minutes.
I was
The
cycling
segment was
through.
almost over, Anthony. We were trying to get you to go first.
All of the positive.
You being our
ones.
fearless leader or whatnot, and you just had nothing positive to say about this team, and then you gave us two positives, which actually were negatives.
Oh, come on, Anthony. We're going to get another email.
Other negatives to take place for your positive to take place.
All right, I'll give you another positive one.
I don't want it.
The Pirates will not sustain this hot streak.
Oh.
Did they lose today?
They're losing right now 2-1 to the Orioles in the bottom of the sixth, but they will not sustain it.
So that means the Cardinals won't finish last.
Like I said, the Pirates will not sustain this hot streak. There's your positive. Why do teams have hot starts like the Pirates, but then failed to close late in the season? We've seen this in other sports, too, most recently in the NFL with the Eagles. Why can't certain teams sustain it? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. Hey, when it comes to home mortgages and finding that perfect home, you want to make sure that you're going with the best when it comes to securing a loan. If you're working with a realtor right now, they offer you a certain lender. Great, go through the process. But then do yourself a favor. Call our guy, Stewie. Jamie and I use him. He's incredible. Chances are he's going to find something within your loan agreement that's going to save you even more money than you thought you could by just going with your realtor's lender. This is... The home purchase is going to be the largest investment that you make. You want to make sure you do it right. It's not just about the rates. It's about knowing that somebody like Stewie's there to offer you the bagel loan. That means $200,000 or more. If you're borrowing that, no lender fees, no closing cost. I don't know any other lender that does this. He's saving you money up front. If you want to consolidate some debt, if you want to refi, Stewie's the guy, again, to go with because he will scour the agreements and everything that's in place to make sure that you're saving money over the long haul, over the loan. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So we were just joking about the Pirates, who are 6-1. They are losing in the top of the seventh to the Orioles. It's 2-1 right now. But the Pirates are off to another hot start.
Give them respect.
I will.
Leading.
Absolutely.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Call them how they are and who they are.
We have seen teams like this jump out to good, fast starts and only to fade. I think with the Pirates, it's easy to kind of diagnose why that happens in Major League Baseball. It's not just the Pirates. It's these teams that might start fast. They got a good streak early on. But the reason why the baseball is 162 games, it's a marathon. They want to make sure that the best teams have an opportunity to show themselves throughout the course of the season. If there's injuries, you can still overcome the injuries. But when it comes to other sports, the Eagles, I think, are a more interesting case study, Carey. Mm-hmm. Like the Eagles, how they started last year, they looked every bit like they were going to go back to the Super Bowl in the NFC, and they crashed. They wound up playing a road playoff game, lost that playoff game, very uninspired. So I think it might be a little bit more interesting to kind of diagnose why a team starts fast in football and crashes.
Well, I agree with you. In baseball, it's so hard to sustain that over a 162-game period. There are going to be ebbs and flows. Unless you're a really, really good team, got a lot of players on there with a lot of depth, you probably have a better chance of sustaining it. Football, I mean, one injury to the wrong person can cost you a lot of games. And I know Jalen Hurts didn't get injured, but he seemed banged up a lot last season. I think they lost 5 of their last 6 games. And even when they were winning earlier in the season, it never seemed like the offense was clicking like it had the year before when they went to the Super Bowl. So, a lot of things that can change in a year span with football. Mm-hmm. I just think it's hard to, if you're a really good football team or a really good team, it just depends on a lot of things. It depends on health. It depends on your talent. And then, as crazy as it sounds, sometimes it depends on luck. Now, you can create your own luck, but I've been on really, really bad teams, and it felt like every single call went against us. Yeah. Then I've been on a really, really good team, and it seemed like every single call went for us. And I'm like, what the hell is this? How is this possible?
This is nice.
This is amazing. Yeah. But those things happen that way when you're a really good team versus when you're a really bad team. So I think there's a lot of things that go into it, but all in all, it's a tough challenge to really run the table being the number one team for an entire season because there are so many other factors that take place.
Sure. I also think how a team is built makes a huge difference. We can apply it to baseball. How a team is built in the regular season, if you have a really good offense that's banging, mm-hmm. you can overcome average pitching in the regular season. And then I do, only because but you got to be like top 5.
You think pitching matters more in the postseason than the regular season?
100%. I think pitching is the number one factor in winning baseball games. Period. Like end of statement. Right. If we weren't on radio, I'd go long pause here for a couple of minutes and then start talking about the offense. But I think just if teams that kind of start hot, if they have a good offense, that can carry you for a while. But eventually, if your pitching stinks, you will be, submerged.
Yeah, I mean, baseball is really that way. You got to have, but I think you got to complement one another. I think part of the problem that you saw with this Cardinals team is, from last year, was they didn't play complementary baseball. They didn't do enough in the field. They didn't do enough on the mound. They didn't do enough in the batter's box. And so you complement all of those things. They didn't have a good enough bullpen, but it wasn't all of those things taking place every game. It was, all right, whose turn is it today? Starting pitching, you're up. All right, you blow this. And then fielding, you have 3 or 4, boot 3 or 4 balls in the field. Right. All right, hitting, let's go gopher for today until we get to the 8th inning and we're down by 4 runs. Like, those were what you saw from this team last year, and that is hard to win games in that manner. So I agree with you. Pitching starts everything, but you having a really solid team allows you to have success. I don't think the Dodgers are going to have much of a problem this year with being, the front runner for the National League all season long. They got too much talent. I know Bobby Miller got roughed up today. He sucks, clearly. He's not great. But
you can only pitch at home.
BT said, I watched him pitch and was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing what he did against the Cardinals.
Well, the Dodgers watched him pitch today and went, whoa.
Right. But, yeah, so I don't think that they're going to have a problem. I don't think that the Braves are going to have much of a problem because they are set up to have success. And again, it starts with the pitching, but also really good players to complement that.
Yeah. So what we're talking about teams that start fast and why do they collapse? Marsh kind of brought it up with the Pirates. Again, been baseball, 162 games. Things kind of play itself out. But going back to football real quick, we saw this with the Dolphins too. It's how you're built.
Right. If
you're not built like a postseason team, you're gonna fail eventually. Now maybe you fail in the wild card rounds, but when it comes to like a team that's like the Dolphins, they clearly weren't physical enough. They weren't going to make it. The Ravens were still practicing deep into the season. You could tell they still have that physicality. Your Steelers teams were built for the postseason. This is why up until, fairly recently, you didn't see a dome team win anything.
Right.
Because the dome team's like, we're fast. We're going to win a bunch of games.
You gotta
the
play
regular
outside.
season. And then you're going to get rocked when you go to Pittsburgh or
when
Baltimore.
or when you go to Philadelphia in 2004.
Yeah.
And you're a dome team. Atlanta Falcons. It's cold.
Really cold, and Michael
cold.
Vick didn't want to play in the cold.
I just wanted to go home. It was cold.
Well, it looked like your teammates wanted to go home too that day.
We did. We went home without a championship.
No.
Yep.
You get them in the dome that year. I stayed.
We smoke them.
Yeah.
I think. Pretty sure.
I think you do.
Yeah, we get them at home.
That was the team that beat the Rams. You guys beat the Rams the week before.
Yeah, we beat the hell out of the Rams the week before.
Work done. T.J. Duckett. Alan Rossum had like a punt return.
Rossi had a punt return. Yeah, punt return or kick return. One of the other.
One of that too.
Yep.
Maybe both.
Maybe.
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. So we are at Centene Community Ice Center for the Puck Cancer Celebrity Game tonight. We're fired up to be here. I know at some point Garth Brooks and Dierks Bentley and Brendan Shanahan and Tony Twist and Doug Wade are going to be here. We're going to get a chance to talk to the man who's going to ref tonight's game, Tim Peel. He's been in the league a while. I actually met Tim at Mentality. At one point, Jamie introduced me. Jamie and I were there, and Jamie introduced me to him. Great guy. I'm sure he's got some stories, too, about Jamie Rivers and what he was like as a player. So Tim will join us next live at Centene Community Ice Center here on 101 ESPN. When I went to Mosby Building Arts about a month ago or so, I was blown away with how they do things. And when they say that they're the right remodeling company, they mean it. I saw it. Because when it comes to working with certain contractors or different companies, we've all been there before. Whether you do a home remodel or some sort of kitchen remodel, a bathroom remodel, or maybe it's just a smaller project. If you don't go with the right company, you can be displaced. You can be without a kitchen for months. You can be waiting. You spend a bunch of money. Sometimes you got crooks in the industry that just take your money. Mosby Building Arts, there are so many people that says, I wish I called Mosby right away because they do it right the first time. They wait until all of the materials are in their warehouse before they start your project. And when they start your project, they've got their own plumbers. They've got their own technicians. They've got their own architects. They're going to work on your specific project, and they're going to be your team throughout the entire process, so they do it right throughout. I love working with Mosby. They do a phenomenal job. They got a spring refresh sale going on right now where you can save some money up front when it comes to windows. They got a bathroom remodel that save some money off. I think it's $1,000 right now throughout the month of April. $1,000 off bath, low monthly payments on that, 10% off windows or 12 months, no payments. Spring refresh sale. So make sure you do that before April 30th. But call Mosby, 314-909-1800, 314-909-1800. Tell them Stalter sent you. You can also visit callmosby.com. But go with them first because they're going to do it right the first time. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It's 5:02. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And we are live at Centene Community Ice Center inside the EB Granite Studios. And it's a special event tonight. We got the Puck Cancer. I've been so careful.
Very, very close.
I've been so careful. Say that 3 times. Puck Cancer charity game that is basically being put on by Kelly Chaser, who has been battling cancer. He's beaten cancer. He's fighting cancer.
Yeah.
And one of the men that will have a tough job tonight is Tim Peel, former NHL referee, who will be reffing tonight's charity game here at Centene. First of all, Tim, it's good to see you. I met you at Mentality when
exactly.
Jamie introduced me, and Jamie goes, "This guy's got plenty of stories for you." So we didn't have an opportunity to talk on air yet, but it's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Don't give away all my secrets about the mentality part. You know,
we love mentality.
Next, you're going to tell everybody that I'm getting Botox all the time.
If you were, I wouldn't know. So, but Tim, what does it mean? Let's just start here. What does it mean to be involved in an event like this?
It's incredible, Anthony. It's going back. The NHL moved me here in 2001, and I didn't know anybody. And I was 32. I was single. I was going out. People are asking me where I went to high school. First year here, I was like, I phoned my boss. I said, "Can you move me to Dallas?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, you got to stay." And I didn't know if I liked it here. And all of a sudden, Chaser took me in under his wing. And I went from knowing nobody in St. Louis. He takes me into O.B. Clark's, and I meet Jimmy O'Brien. Subsequently, Jimmy and Chaser were in my wedding party. So then he introduces me to Tony Sansone. So between Tony Sansone, Jimmy O'Brien, and Kelly Chase, I knew everybody in St. Louis. And it was the best thing I ever did. So Chaser has been a dear friend for a long time. He's been with me in good times and bad times. And you know, we've been supporting him. And this event that he put on, I was talking to Tony Granato last night, and I said, Chaser's Rolodex is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like, to be able to get the people that he has coming in, Garth Brooks, Sean Payton, Gretz, Hull, Chelio, Shanahan, Belfort, just on and on. That's incredible. But that shows the kind of person that he is, that these guys, they're like, Chaser's like, hey, I need you to come in. Okay, Chaser wins the event. Yeah. So it's fantastic.
I was reading, it's Kelly Chase's story through Jeremy Rutherford on The Athletic, and one of the anecdotes from that was Kelly Chase talking about how he was texting Lance Armstrong,
yes,
who was also texting him back,
yes.
And it's a really heartwarming story throughout, what can be a very, significant battle. But to your point, Tim, it's like, yeah, he's even got Lance Armstrong texting him.
He was really a fourth-line player in the NHL. His role was to protect Hull and other stars of the game. He wasn't a superstar. He was a fourth-line player that played, a decent career, but wasn't an all-star, isn't in the Hall of Fame. But because of the type of person he is, that's why he's able to generate and put together an event like this, which is fantastic. Yeah.
So, Tim, you were a referee for 23 years. 23 years. So, as a ref, obviously, you stay neutral, but I'm sure there were times where you saw some amazing things on the ice and were like, oh, my God, how did that happen? What was the most amazing, or one of the most amazing players that you ever were able to referee and be a part of a game?
Probably when I refereed Mario Lemieux. He played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Mario Lemieux had this aura about him, like a Michael Jordan, a Wayne Gretzky. It's so hard to describe that the superstars that have this aura about them, the way they carry themselves, and I would see Mario in the bowels of the Pittsburgh Mellon Arena, and I'd see him and I'd just be in awe. But just the phenomenal players over the years, but I miss the fights too. We don't have as many fights as we used to have, and we had Chaser, Jeremy Roenick, and I do a podcast, and we had Chaser on the other day, and we were talking about the old Detroit. You lived in Chicago, Anthony. The old Blackhawks and Blues rivalries, like that was fun hockey. Yeah. And we need a little bit more of that back, I think.
When you all went into a game like that, were you all, as referees, prepared for what could take place? Were those conversations that you all had to have pre-game to say, hey, keep an eye on this or keep an eye on that?
100%. And our prep would start actually in the morning at breakfast. It would start, our team would go to lunch together. We would talk about the lineups that night, who's playing, who we need to look out for, who we need to protect, and we would prepare ourselves for that game.
Obviously, I'm sure you've seen the Rangers and Devils line brawl from the other night. I loved it too. It was fantastic. What can fans expect tonight? Do you think we'll see any jousting tonight between some of the players?
I think we're gonna. Derek Amell, who's gonna referee the game with me, he was a NHL official for 25 years. He flew in from Pittsburgh. I think we're gonna drop the puck, and the boys are gonna go up and down, and they can't wait to get to the after party. I don't think there'll be a lot of physicality out there tonight. A lot of these guys. You look at Barret Jackman. Walk into the rink tonight, and the guy looks like he could still play, right? Yeah. But a lot of these guys don't skate anymore. The only time I skate is when I coach my son out in Chesterfield, and my skating days are done. So it's kind of funny as a player or an ex-official. Once you're done, you're kind of done. You don't want to play anymore. It's like a mailman doesn't want to go for his walk when he retires. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining, and it's going to be exciting. Having Dirk Bentley playing, so it'll be good. Tim
Peel is joining us right now, former NHL referee who's going to be officiating tonight's Puck Cancer charity game. And Tim, it's just we had Reed Lowe on. I don't know. We were here like a month or two ago. And to hear you talk about that, we're like, we're done. That was Reed's whole thing. Like, we were like, hey, what did you miss? What did this? And he was like, nothing. And he's sitting there with a drink. He's sitting here, he's having a drink. And I think he was playing that night. It was another charity event or another alumni event. He's like, yeah, boys, this is it. Like, he just doesn't think about it.
You know what? I was talking to Cam Jansen this afternoon, and I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to get there early. I'm going to tape my sticks up. And I'm like, you're going to try to score some goals tonight, aren't you? He goes, yeah, I'm going to try to score. So you watch Cam. I know Cam. I love him. And he'll put on a show, so it's going to be great. It's so good for St. Louis, and having the place sold out. Over 3,000 people here tonight, and it's going to be tremendous.
This is an event that St. Louis does well. You know, it's like, hey, we're going to support. So no surprise that they're coming out.
Tim, we get this question often on the text line, pretty much once or twice a week. What causes a player to get bounced from the face-off circle? What is the exact thing that they're doing that makes you say, all right, you get the hell out of here next?
You know what? I think I'll explain it in a second, but I think, first of all, our guys kick out too many centermen. I think I watch some games, and so basically there's hash marks on the ice, and the guys' skates have to line up in a certain area. And then there's the circle, the face-off circle, and the player has to put his stick down in a certain position. If they don't do that, then they get ejected. And I think it never used to be as strict as it was, and I think we're kicking out too many centermen right now. It's like we want a fair face-off, but you kick out 30, 40 guys a night. The fans are like, just drop the puck.
Yeah.
I get the frustration. Yeah.
Tim, I got to ask, so Barret Jackman's going to join us here, too. So Jax just came in, and he kind of looked at you like, hey, listen, you're talking too much. I really haven't seen, and I saw the interactions between you and Jamie, too. I haven't seen a sport where the refs and the players like really have this mutual respect. They get along so well. Why do you think it's in that sport, but maybe not others?
You know what? That's a great point you brought up. I posted a picture today of Ryan Malone. He played in the NHL. Pittsburgh, Tampa, and from last night, and somebody said, "Man, that's great how you guys get along now." And I go, "That's hockey, though. That there's a mutual respect that, players would get upset at officials, but they respect them because they're like, these guys are the best. They got to the NHL for a certain reason, and there's just this common thread with hockey people, whether it's officials, players, coaches. Quenneville's coming in tonight. When you see guys that you haven't seen for a while, no matter whether you're ref, player, or coach, it's like old home week. You can't wait to see each other. And it's a tremendous bond that we have as a hockey community.
All right, before we let you go, the best trash talker that you heard on a consistent basis when you were reffing?
Well, he's actually the assistant coach here in St. Louis, Steve Ott.
Steve Ott.
Yeah. He was one of the best. I remember we were in Long Island one night, and he was playing for Dallas, and he's just nonstop chirping. It's like continuous. And so we go over to the bench, and he's sitting there, and I go, Otter, are you married? And he goes, yeah, I'm married, Pilsy. And the players are sitting there, and I go, your wife must take a ton of Tylenol because I said, you give me a headache every night I'm reffing. He's laughing, but he was one of the best trash talkers.
Wow.
Tyson Nash, that played here, was a great trash talker. We kind of lost that now. We need some more guys like that back in the game.
Well, it seems like there's a bunch of young, nice guys that
exactly
worried about their own kind of situation.
100%.
Tim, have fun tonight. I know we're here for a great cause, and I know that you're also going to do have some fun as well. But looking forward to it. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
That's Tim Peel, former NHL ref, who will be reffing tonight's game. We're going to talk to Barret Jackman next. We're going to talk to Jax about his role tonight, why he's here. Thanks, Tim. And get into some Blues hockey as well with the former Blues defenseman next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Well, from one great guy to another, we just got a chance to talk to Tim Peel, former NHL referee, who will be reffing tonight's Puck Cancer event put on by Kelly Chase, and all the proceeds for tonight's event go to the Siteman Cancer Center. So it's a great event, and a lot of people are heading down here. In fact, the place is going to be packed here at Centene, and we have an opportunity to talk to one of our favorites. It's Barret Jackman. What's up, Jax?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
No, it's always our pleasure. So tonight, what's the game plan? Because you just talked to Tim Peel, and he said a lot of these guys are just going to go up and down and then enjoy the after party. Is that you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm looking forward to get back in the locker room here before the game, and then get carved quite a bit after the game, and then enjoy some pops.
Do you still enjoy putting on the skates and putting all the equipment on and doing everything, or is it started to become monotonous?
No, it's fun. I coach my son, and on the ice probably 5-6 days a week, and
so you're used to it.
Yeah, and get out with them, and then we have alumni skate here at Centene 3 days a week. Maybe once a week I get to go out, but it's fun. It doesn't matter what level of hockey you played. If you get in the locker room and you just a little pickup hockey, there's still a lot of guys falling. There's a lot of bad passes. And it's funny because, you'll sit there on the ice and somebody will do something stupid right away. You'll yell at the time. We'll check it on Live Barn after and have breakfast after the skate and just carve each other. So it's awesome. Just good being part of, kind of a team locker room atmosphere.
No doubt.
Is there one player that you think or that you know of that may have a little bit more intensity and just a little bit ready to go more than is required for an event like this?
Yeah,
there's always
been somebody that you got to kind of give them a tap on the pads and say, hey, we're trying not to get hurt here.
Yeah,
make it entertaining.
Right,
but you're making us look bad.
Yeah,
well, I imagine that happens more when you're playing maybe some of these alumni games against maybe. Marsh, you would be better than I would in this, like a club team or some team that comes.
They've had events like that here, Blues alumni playing against other alumni.
Sure, they're trying to prove something at that point. So I imagine that's got to be a little tougher.
Yeah, sometimes our Blues alumni fantasy camp gets a little intense.
Yeah.
Some teams want to win the trophy, and it's not about really just going out and hanging out. So. But everybody's out there for a good time, and if that guy wants to work too hard, you might just give him a little slash.
Now, do you know who your defense partner will be tonight?
No, I haven't talked to the coaches yet. I haven't had a meeting, so I'm hoping Chris Butler, because he's a little younger and he's in pretty good shape. But anybody I get to play with, it'll be fun.
So. Chaser, obviously, I'm sure you've had a relationship with Chaser, and you've been following everything that he's been battling. What's it mean to you to be at an event like this, Jax?
No, this is huge, and Chaser, he's the only person in the world could put together a game of this magnitude that will raise so much money while battling cancer and going through his chemo and hospital stays and all that. There's nobody in my mind that I could think that could pull this off. But Chaser has been so huge to so many different charities, so many different people, so many different alumni and current players that Chaser, as soon as you get into town, he reaches out to you and asks you how he can make your stay more comfortable in St. Louis. So the list of guys that are here is all because of Chaser, and it's a testament to what type of person he is and how much he does for others.
Now, I know you got a lot of guys that you're good friends with, play with, teammates. I need you to tell us something about our teammate who is not here right now, Jamie Rivers. Tell us, because he's listening. I'm sure he's still listening.
Oh, yeah.
Give us a story about Jamie Rivers that we may not know that we can bring up on Monday when we see him.
He was my roommate for a while when we were here in St. Louis, and I just remember getting to a hotel. I think it was in Edmonton, and we went out for dinner, and then get back to the room, and he had 3 out of the 4 kids at that time, and he ordered a few beers to the room. We're sitting there, and I just remember him on the phone, and Yeah, he was just, okay, Haas has this, so-and-so has this, whatever, and he was just losing his mind. His head was spinning. He gets off the phone, he goes, I love my kids, but man, are they wearing me out.
Yeah.
You said this was last week?
Yeah, right. He'll get text message all the time, and we always look at him like, what kid? Yeah. Because you never know. Usually it's not his oldest, Carson. It's usually not her. She's
Carson's
self-sufficient. But one of the boys or the youngest, who is a phenomenal soccer player, so he's got his hands full still.
Yeah, Ribs is the best though. He's he always keeps things light. He's always been the guy to get your back on the ice and off the ice, and I love him to death.
No doubt. Barret Jackman joining us right now here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jax, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about the current Blues. Obviously, last night was tough. We didn't expect that this team was, going to be one that's maybe making a deep run, but I did think they were going to at least be a wild card team this year. What have you seen? What do you think? Either aspects of their play that's missing, or certain positions. What do you think is the missing ingredient right now in your eyes?
It's just the consistency of the team. There's not many games you kind of point to that they've had complete effort the entire game, or just stuck to the game plan the entire game. So they have some good highs and they have a lot of lows, but that consistency of the effort right from the beginning of the game to the end is what makes a good team great, and an average team not very good. So right now they got to figure it out. They got to figure out the chemistry. The young guys got to come and figure out what the lineup is for next year, and just right from day one, it's going to be all about work ethic and playing that the team system that doesn't matter what kind of talent you have in the game. You win at 2-1, you win at 1-0. It's got to be the goal. And when you score more than that, you're happy, and if you win big, that's great. But it's all about the close games that you have to win.
Sure.
I'm sure you've been on teams like that you just, for whatever reason, were unable to figure it out. On the outside looking in, we're just as frustrated. But when you're in that locker room, what are some of the conversations that are taking place, and how do you, or can you, get it corrected? Either maybe not for this season, but for the following season.
Yeah, it's accountability, it's leadership, it's buy-in, it's all those things, and it's any sport. If you have a bunch of guys that one guy's doing this, one guy's doing that, then it's really hard to have that winning mentality, right, and being able to count on the guy next to you and know what they're doing in every situation. And it's really, the conversations are we have to be better, you have to be better, I have to be better, and how are we going to figure that out? And the message from the coach has got to be consistent, and the message from the leader's got to be consistent as well.
Jack, speaking of the coach, you got Drew Bannister step in. It's a tough spot for him. I mean, you're stepping into a situation where the only coach to win a cup here is replacing. Now, you're inheriting a team that's not playing well, and you're trying to earn a full-time job. Whether it's Drew Bannister or anybody else the Blues go with, what do you think they should be looking for in a coach? Who really stood out to you during your playing career, and why did they stand out as a coach?
Coach Quimble. He was amazing. He was really good at putting a game plan in. He had great assistants that helped him with that, and the whole coaching staff is part of it. But Quimble let the locker room be the guys. You rarely would see him walking through or anything. He was in his coach's office. He would take a lot of the young guys and do little things during practice, but he had trust in the leadership. He had trust in the older guys to police the room, and but he was just a great person. Off the ice, you could talk to him about anything, and he had the ability to let the game go and kind of have a human side to him, sure, away from the rink as well.
So you felt like there was something beyond hockey. He cared about you, so you wanted to fight for him too.
Yeah, I remember going to my first Rams game, and I got some tickets, and the Blues had a suite, and so I thought if Sunday it's gonna be great. I'll have a few beers, enjoy myself, and I walked in, the whole coaching staff was in the suite. Okay, and he saw me, and Didn't even say hi. He went over to the fridge, grabbed a beer, he cracked it open. He goes, "Hey, let's have a good Sunday."
That's great.
And then every 15 minutes after that, he put a new beer in my hand.
Nice. Hey, there you go. Yeah.
Just stuff like that, where he could just be a great person and realize that it's more than just a game.
That's phenomenal. All right, Jax, what's tougher, defending in the NHL or following as a parent your son's schedule right now? Which you're in Detroit, you're telling us for hockey. You're going to Mississippi next for baseball. What's tougher?
Definitely the kids.
Yeah.
God bless my wife, but I love being on the road. You get the rest.
Road trip right now.
Yeah, when you're able to go in the room, you get room service, you watch a movie,
sit down, relax.
I made the mistake once. My son was young, and my wife asked what I was doing. I said, I'm pretty tired. I'm going to get some room service. And she lost her mind. Don't you ever tell me that again. I get a crying baby at home.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know what? I saw some bricklayers there outside. I'm going to go help them for a while. Yeah. Jax, it's always a pleasure, man. You're one of our favorites, and we'll certainly be in touch. Hopefully you'll join us again soon, man.
I'm always around.
Excellent. All right, it's Barret Jackman, former Blue. Great event going on tonight. I know a lot of people are heading down to the Sensing Community Ice Center for the Puck Cancer charity game that's being put on by Kelly Chase. All the proceeds go to the Siteman Cancer Center as Chaser continues to fight cancer. And what a great event. And Jack's going to be playing tonight, so looking forward to that. All right, I don't know what we have coming up next. How about we just go sports next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN?
Grant Francis here with a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The biggest game of the season for the Blues last night in Nashville was a disappointing one. They put 47 shots on goal, but Yusei Saros made 44 saves as the Blues fell 6-3 to the Predators. They could have been 4 points within themselves and the Predators. Instead, now they're 8 points behind Nashville, 7 points behind the Kings for that final wild card spot in the Western Conference. They'll be back in action tomorrow on the road as they are in San Jose to take on the Sharks. Pregame at 4 o'clock, puck drop at 5 here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. It was a better note for the Cardinals yesterday as they won 8-5 at opening day at Busch Stadium over the Marlins. They're off today. They'll be back tomorrow against the Marlins at Busch Stadium. 1:15 first pitch between the Cards and the Fish. I'm Grant Francis. The SportsCenter update has been brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Our thanks to Tim Peel and to Barret Jackman for stopping by the EB Granite Studios here at Centene Community Ice Center. People are starting to file in for the Puck Cancer event. I think that's Chelios right there, actually. We should flag down Chris Chelios.
Where at? Yeah, bring him on in.
He's walking in. Yeah. I think he just walked away right there. So you're starting to see some celebrities walking around the Centene Community Ice Center again for tonight's event put together by Kelly Chase, who continues to fight cancer and fight it well. There's a great piece in The Athletic that I've referenced a couple of times today. It is through Chaser's viewpoint, but JR, Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic, he wrote it. But Chaser was talking about how he was telling the doctor he brought in the Peloton to the hospital, and the doctor's like, what are we doing here? And Chaser's like, yeah, I'm going to run X amount of miles. I can't remember what the miles was. I'm going to do this every day. And the doctor's like, no, you're not. You're going to be on chemo. And, you know, hey, listen, you got to take it easy, whatever. Sure enough, Chaser hit X amount of miles. He did, like, I don't know, 2,500 push-ups or something like that a day. And eventually the
2,500 a day?
I think that's what it was.
That is a lot.
I can find it real quick. No, I'm sorry. I shorted him. 2,800.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I did 2,800 push-ups and 2,800 sit-ups in 24 days. Okay. It would take me all day to do 100 push-ups. Sorry.
Gotcha. I was like,
my bad.
Damn.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of push-ups.
My bad. 2,800 in 24 days, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, 100 push-ups a day, but he said he took all day. But that's just the mentality that Chaser has, right? Like I'm not going to sit around. The doctor even was telling the nurses he knows his body, he knows what he wants to accomplish as somebody that's determined. But he also talks about the mental health aspect of it and how when he was playing, if somebody had kind of mental health stuff, that he almost would view that as a weakness. And now he understands how important it is because he's been going through it too. But the other aspect too, when you hear who stopped by and who texts him and who reaches out. You've got Lance Armstrong reaching out to him, who talk to him about the process. As we know, Joel Quenneville's here. Q is here. Sean Payton, I guess, is going to be here for the Denver Broncos at some point. We saw Chelios, Tim Peel, Cam Jansen, former Blues alum. The Rolodex, as Tim Peel noted, for Chasers is just unbelievable. But you don't get people coming into an event like this to support you if you haven't at some point touched them in some way and touched their lives in some way.
I was going to say that the fact that people show up and show out for you, it speaks volumes to who you are as a person, as a man, and what he's done, throughout his entire life. Because when you are able to get the people to come out and support you in a time like this, or at any time,
right,
it just speaks volumes to how hard he has worked his entire life, how good of a man he has been his entire life. And, I'm sure he's done a lot of things for a lot of people, been to a lot of events of theirs. And so sometimes people feel, you know what, I'm going to return the favor. That's my guy. I want to go out there and support him. And I think this is a really good event for the St. Louis community.
I do, too. Marsh, were you laughing about something?
I was laughing.
Can you share what you read?
Yeah, thanks, Dad always has some good stuff.
I always have to preface that. Like, I don't know if you just read something that wouldn't be appropriate for air, but
no, this one's definitely appropriate for air. You're talking about the push-ups, and I believe you said 2,800.
It's a 2,500 a day.
2,500. Thinks Dad says that's almost 3,000.
Almost. Yeah.
Of course, in reference to my Jaromir Jagr 3,000 game.
3,000 games?
Yeah, I guess. The dude played a long time.
How many years?
He's still playing.
Not playing in the National Hockey League.
No, but he's played a lot. Who did the Ricky Henderson stolen base thing? 3,000.
That was Jamie.
Yeah.
Was it Jamie?
I think it was Jamie.
Mine wasn't a number. It was
yours.
Like, was it a year? What was it? What was mine?
Oh, what was it?
Was it World War II or what was mine?
Yeah. No, it was the.
No, it wasn't that.
It was the Tom Brady. The Tom Brady passing yards.
It was in the question.
It was in the question, and you guys missed the boat.
Yep.
80,000. Yeah, that was in the question. I wasn't paying attention.
Look, it happens. All right.
Hey, man. Jordan Hicks went 7 innings, 5 hits allowed, 1 earned run, and 5 Ks.
That guy's not a starter.
He's not a starter. I think he is. I don't know.
I would remark to you, because he had given up a run in the first inning. I'm like, well,
maybe talking crap about
maybe the Jordan Hicks experiment is over.
Yeah, you kind of shut that down.
Yeah, you're right. Seven innings, 5 hits, 5 Ks. Giants and Padres tied 2-2.
He's got a .75 ERA in 2 games.
Is that good? Like
that
is
bad.
Actually like. That's something that
it's concerning.
It kind of blows my mind, though, because I don't ever remember him going that deep in any of his other starts when he was here in St. Louis, and I just can't wrap my brain around him pitching 7 innings in 1 game because they never really allowed him to.
Well, but he also only had – and look, March, I completely agree.
He had 5 starts or 6 starts, something like that.
And they weren't great, so I'll give that to the Cardinals.
He didn't have a wide array of pitches. I remember him – having really, if he had 3,
how fast is that one pitch he got?
The third one wasn't great.
How fast is the one pitch he got?
I know, but
like
as a reliever, that's fine. You can't go 7 innings if you're throwing 105.
You can't?
No. I guarantee you.
What do you think he topped out at today?
I guarantee you he's got 3 pitches now.
But what do you think his hardest pitch
he may have gone 105 at some point, but you're not throwing 105. You're not throwing the 4-seamer at 105 in the 7th.
Bobby Miller threw 100 in the 7th inning.
And look what happened to him today. He got destroyed by the Cubs.
I think he's been using his
5.87 ERA now, and he shut down the Cardinals last week.
That guy sucks.
That guy sucks.
I think Jordan Hicks has been using his slider more often. I think I read something about that.
Let's see here.
Which is something that, I don't think we were necessarily accustomed to.
He had 2 good pitches when he was here, and the Cardinals were like, okay, hey, listen, you got 2 great ones.
We want you to throw 1.
We want you to be in the bullpen. You, as a starter, you have to have 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mariano Rivera had an unhittable pitch, but he was in the 9th. It wasn't going to work if he was only going to go 4 innings or so without it. So he threw a couple of sinkers in the first inning. He's got a splitter. He didn't even throw. He has a splitter, a sinker. He's got a sweeper, which would be essentially a slider. I don't even think he's throwing a 4. There you go. He didn't even throw the 4-seamer, which was 95 until the 2nd inning. So this is what I'm talking about. If you have 4 pitches that you can go to, you threw a sinker a lot. So he went pro. This is perfect. So he goes sinker, 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 sinker to Profar, and then 95 on the outer black to get him out. That's a start.
It's not bad.
You could argue the Cardinals never developed that.
You could argue that they never gave that a chance.
Never gave him a chance.
Enough of a chance.
Enough of a chance.
Gentlemen that are playing well.
So sorry about your car.
You know what?
Sorry.
It's early in the year. It's early.
We'll see how he does. Probably
Cy
Young.
That would be nuts. That would be crazy.
We have a lot to get to in this final. The Friday last segment is always jam-packed. We got Fade or Follow, Bet the Board, 3 stars of the day, criticisms, compliments, all next on 101 ESPN. This weekend is a perfect time to head out to Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. Get yourself a brand new ride. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow. How about you take a couple test drives at Auto Center's Nissan out in Herculaneum? Start tonight at AutoCentersNissan.com. They have over 700 vehicles on their lot. It's not just new Nissans, too. They have pre-owned vehicles, different makes, different models. So whether you're into cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, sports cars, they've got them all at Auto Centers Nissan, and with great pricing, too. And you can take advantage of a couple of incentives going on right now on new Nissans at Auto Centers. They get 0% APR and payment terms all the way up to 84 months. They've got up to $5,000 off MSRP. No down payment needed in 3 months of no payments. That way you give your wallet a break, save the tax money. So they've got great savings, financing options for everyone that walks through the door. Whether you got good credit or bad credit, Auto Centers will take care of you. And they give you the 30-day return promise. That's their way of saying, we know you're going to love the car buying experience. You're going to love your car. That will give you a 30-day return promise. Within 30 days, if you bring the vehicle back for any reason, they'll refund your money back to you. That's how confident they are that you're going to love the experience there. So check them out online, AutoCentersNissan.com, or head out there this weekend. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan, Herculaneum.
It's time for FanDuel Fade or Follow on the Fast Lane.
Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Everyone follow us.
I'll fade.
Money, 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 money.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time to play FanDuel's Fade or Follow with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome back Trenton, who won last week. Cashed with Duke on Friday night. Boy, Trenton, good thing that Duke saved their best performance for Friday night, because the next two nights later, they didn't look too good. So, congratulations, my friend.
Hey, thank you.
All right, do you want hockey or do you want Final Four? We'll leave it up to you.
I'm more of a basketball guy. Let's go with the Final Four.
All right, you know where I'm going. I don't think Carey agrees with this. I don't very much care.
Nah.
UConn minus 11.5 against Alabama tomorrow night. Would you like to fade us or follow us, Trenton?
I'm going to follow you guys. I think Alabama's offense keeps up with them.
Oh, this. So my play is UConn minus the 11.5. Mm-hmm. So if you think Alabama can stay up, then you're going to fade.
Yes.
So you want to take Alabama plus the 11.5?
Alabama plus 11.5. Let's ride.
All right. Okay. All right. There you go. So good luck to you. If Alabama covers tomorrow night, you're good. And we'll see you. We'll talk to you next Friday. If not, hey, you had a good run.
All right. I hope so.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Thanks for playing.
Yep. Thank you.
There you go. So there you go, Carey. Feel like you didn't like that play, and Trenton agreed.
You know, I think that's a lot of points. And, I mean, if UConn loses, well, Anthony is going to, I mean, you're going to kind of lose it yourself if they having to lose to Alabama.
Let me just look at
NATO's crew.
How they've been doing here. Covered against Illinois, -8. Covered against San Diego State, -12. Covered against
But have they
Northwestern,
played anyone?
-13. Covered against Stetson, -27.5. Covered against Marquette, -9.5. Did not cover against St. John's.
Huh?
But they covered against Xavier, -15. Come on. They're used to covering big numbers. That is what they do.
We shall see.
The Huskies, baby. All right, what do we got, Marsh?
For Bet the Board?
Yeah.
Who am I picking?
Well, did you have any updated standings?
Anthony will have an update on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is, I have not looked at this, Anthony. But you know what, Marsh? Marsh brought my live read folder back. I left it at Ballpark Village.
We almost played a prank on you, too.
You did.
I really
I was going to be looking
have.
in my bag for my first read, and I've been like,
I don't have it.
I saw that.
I would have handled it.
Yeah, but if you lose something.
Oh, it's a bad feeling. You're like, where did I live? Oh, Ballpark Village. Yeah, but thank you, Marsh. So I won't give you crap for not having the updated standings for us.
That's all right, Anthony.
What the hell are you doing,
Oh,
Marcy?
come on now. Come
Did you win
on.
last night?
No, actually, I didn't.
I did.
I did not. No, I had the
Carey.
Had the Warriors. Yeah, you won.
No, I lost.
Oh.
I had the under in the Blues Predators game, and there was 9 goals scored.
I took the over Nashville goals trying to help the Blues, and unfortunately I cashed. Unfortunately I cashed.
I love how your thought process works.
I didn't cash. I just won the Bet the Board play.
You did that, man.
I did.
It's your fault.
Well, I goofed up earlier in the week for the Blues. All right, go ahead.
Oh man, I'm looking at this.
Keeper struggling.
I had something in the bag, and then I realized, gentlemen,
it started.
No. It's over the -150 threshold.
Can't use it then.
Can't use it, so I'm gonna.
Did you have the word?
I'm gonna fade my original pick because it's plus odds.
Whoa.
Zach Edey, unfortunately, for me, this won't happen. Under 13.5 rebounds. The last time he went under 14 or under 13.5, I believe, was against Carey's Illini.
Because we played great defense.
Actually, I take that back.
All right.
Take that back. It was against Wisconsin.
What part of that 30-0 run are you referring to?
It happens all the time, Anthony.
Yeah, sure.
You got to watch more basketball. I'm telling you.
So I'm rolling with NC State. DJ Burns, I hope you have a big game and out-rebound Zach Edey on Saturday.
All right, there you go.
I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. Shocker.
Are they playing again?
Yeah, I have basketball. Yeah,
I usually just hit copy-paste for Carey's picks.
They are
so
plus
I have Carey's
104 on the money line.
Plus 104 tonight.
They just beat the Mavericks, but now they're at Dallas playing the Mavericks.
At American Airlines Arena.
Yeah.
That's what they call that joint.
Is that what that is?
Yep.
I thought that was Miami's arena.
No.
American
Airlines Arena is Dallas.
Wasn't Miami? Did they change it to Bitcoin at one point?
Crypto whatever is now the Lakers and Clippers. Yeah. Marsh, you know where I'm going. Even though I got faded by our guy Trenton, I'm laying the 11.5 with my UConn Huskies.
Makes sense.
Yeah, darn right. So that's where I'm going. Did Jamie leave us a play? He got smoked last night. He took the Senators. They finished third.
I thought he picked Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you picked Pittsburgh. He picked Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, you don't remember him saying that?
No.
You shouldn't. He didn't say it, but we said it.
Okay.
He won, right?
So what is he going with tonight?
Oh, man, Anthony, I think he's going to take the Blues against the Sharks tomorrow. You know, they haven't had a great outing against them. He can't.
Yeah, he can't. He doesn't take.
He can take the Sharks if you want.
Yeah, let's give him the Sharks.
He don't give him the Sharks.
No. He's going to take. How about
Give
the
him the
over?
Rangers versus the Red Wings
Tonight?
minus 126. Give him the Rangers.
He's a former Red Wing, though.
We got to give him the Red Wings.
You got to give him the Red Wings.
I tried.
Plus 100.
Yeah, let's give him the Red Wings. They're fighting for a playoff spot right now.
The Casilla Center? Casilla Center? That's where Miami plays.
It used to be something American something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The Penguins won last night, though, so Jamie's somewhat on a roll right now.
All right, Marsh. What do we got for something else?
Something else.
Criticisms and compliments. 3 stars, whatever you want to go. I don't even know our out time tonight.
I believe we're out of here in a couple of minutes.
Grant,
so we'll just leave it at that.
I'm going to do this over the air. People are going to get an inside peek. So, Grant, you give us the 1, the 30, and then you count me down from 10, all right?
All right. You want me to do that on the air?
Nah, don't do that on the air.
Behind the scenes.
By the way, perfect time to thank our guy, Grant Francis, who did a great job back in the studios. We were on the road the last couple of days. Grant filled in today with Marsh here next to us. So, Grant, thank you, my friend.
Yeah, of course. I always love being with you guys. It's been a while since I've been on the show with you guys.
It has. It has felt that. But you've been doing a great job with the Blues. You can hear Grant during the pregame shows and the intermissions and the postgames for the Blues on the Blues Radio Network. So, great job as always.
A real quick question. No criticisms or compliments before we get to the 3 stars of the day. Is Ryan Helsley in the circle of trust or no? Just a quick disclaimer here. We do not do the circle of trust. That is BK and Ferrario. So we're not going to answer this question.
So it's not appropriate.
We don't steal segments.
We don't steal segments. It's not nice.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Well, he just stole it.
All right, let's get to
our thing.
Our 3 stars of the day. The 3rd star of the day is going to go to the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah, Anthony.
Our 2nd star of the day goes out to Danger Davis.
Danger Davis. That's Carey's wrestling name.
And our 1st stars of the day go out to Tim Peel and Barret Jackman. Jacks.
They'll be here tonight at Centene Community Ice Center for the Puck Cancer event. Thank you for everybody listening. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Blues tomorrow and all the things going on tomorrow. We will see you.